Hello, Internet, and welcome to Any Percent, the only podcast that is really consistent. My name is Evan Sampson, and I am your host, and I am joined by my two beautiful co-hosts who are too small on my screen right now. I gotta fix that. I gotta fix them guys so I can see them guys. Kody Mosley.
What's going on, Evan?
What's going on, my guy? I can't figure out how to make you guys look normal on my screen. Oh, the grid. There we go. And
grid,
Casper Karen.
Hello.
I feel like the intros are hard to do, even though we've taken there's been no break. I should be totally natural with this,
right?
And it's just
the intros are always, yeah.
I need to take a book out of someone else, take a page out of someone else's podcasting book with how they do it, because I just feel like I sound so weird.
Yeah. Well, I don't think you sound weird, Ev.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
I think interest just
Casper,
stuck in
do
general.
you think I sound weird?
Nah.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks, buddy. So it is early January at the time of recording. And we were thinking it would be fun to do an episode about the game of the year for 2021. We had a couple different ideas for formats, but we decided a bracket would be fun because then we have to fight each other. And this is actually going to be determined through physical combat. We haven't really worked out all the details as to how we'll do that over the internet, but... Oh my God, Kody! You're bringing a gun to a regular.
I'll put it down. No worries.
And that, yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I think a lot of people were saying 2021 was kind of a weak year. Everything due to COVID getting pushed into 2022. But I think it was really strong actually. Maybe it didn't have your number one obvious blockbuster hit like a Last of Us type or a God of War, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Where everybody can kind of just come to the consensus that or like a Breath of the Wild, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think it was still a really strong year for some of the next tier down of games, you know what I mean? If that makes sense.
The poo-poo pee-pee games, in other words, is
yeah.
what Cody's trying to say.
Yeah, of course, poo-poo pee-pee.
I think
no, yeah, I mean, games definitely came out this year.
there's so many games that are just being made in general now. It's kind of hard to have a slow year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I think
it was lacking in big AAA titles for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that maybe indie games are always gonna come out, you know what I mean, whenever they come out.
Yeah.
But yeah, those big AAA definitely suffer from delays due to COVID and that sort of thing. So
right.
But yeah, I think it's still a good year overall.
Yeah, man. I mean, that summer, too, can we just say, where we thought COVID was over, that was fucking rad as hell.
Dude, yeah.
Just speaking of 2021 being a good year, that was like my summer of 69, dude. That was sick. That was dope. I did so much stuff with my friends that I had put off for a year and a half at that point.
Yeah, I went to Six Flags and stuff.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how I didn't catch COVID.
I was going to say.
That's a whole other thing.
I don't know. I think it was the opposite. I was still nervous. I didn't trust it, so I'm just wearing a mask out in public still. I'm just hiding.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I definitely, was nervous at Six Flags, but it was right when I got my second shot. Mm-hmm. So I think everybody was just having a grand old time.
Oh yeah, my immunity kicked in on my 26th birthday, so
there you go.
I went to town, dude. I went to a bar for the first time that day in a year and a half. It was nice. All right, boys. I think let's just get into it. So
let's just jump right into it.
I'm not gonna say to the audience whose games or whose. It might come out in the conversation, but I think you guys will have to guess, oh lovely audience, as to who picked what. So I think we'll just go with the first and the 16th seed to start. So gentlemen, it's Psychonauts 2 versus Metroid Dread. So I think Metroid Dread wins here, but I didn't play Psychonauts 2.
Right. I didn't play Metroid Dread.
That's crazy that you didn't play Metroid Dread, because it seems like something you'd be into 100% to me.
The Metroid series never never really piqued my interest, I guess.
You didn't play like Metroid Prime when you were a kid?
No, I didn't have that was on GameCube, right?
Yeah. God.
Didn't have
Don't
a
tell me you were like
GameCube.
too young to have a GameCube.
Not too young. I was just on the other side. I was on the flip side
PlayStation.
playing I was a PlayStation kid.
I see.
But yeah, I don't know. So Metroid Dread, it I don't know, Evan, try to convince me, because I'm pretty dead set on Psychonauts.
Before
2.
you convince him though, I just realized, I don't know if you did this on purpose, but it's kind of funny because these are both games that haven't had a sequel in a really long time. Right?
Oh, that is such a good point, and I didn't do this on purpose.
They're the comeback,
Yeah.
right? Because Psychonauts 2 was obviously in development for
Years. I don't even know how long.
very
Yeah.
long time. And then, yeah, Metroid Dread kind of came out of nowhere. I mean, I think there was like rumblings that it was happening. Mercury Steam developed, and then it just kind of it was like real all of a sudden, you know?
Yeah, I think there were rumors that the next 2D Metroid was going to be called Dread, since like Metroid Fusion came out. Like I think the design documents for it have existed for a long time. But yeah, I remember watching, like, was that E3? Like at Nintendo Direct around E3 when they announced it.
Right.
Yeah.
I think so.
And or maybe Summer Games Fest or whatever. Jeff Keighley, whatever he does in the summer.
That sounds right.
Yeah, either way. And then it was out like so much shortly after that. So, all right. Well, I'll pitch it to you like this. I'm not a fan of Metroid. Like, I'm not like, I didn't grow up really on Metroid. I played Metroid Prime a little bit, which is obviously quite different from the 2D Metroid games. But I thought it was really fun because I realized that formula is fun from playing Hollow Knight, which I am pretty sure you like, Kody.
Right. So, like, that kind of genre of games.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know, something about Metroid. I think it's the art style that kind of turns me off from it, which kind of stinks because, a lot of people like that kind of art style. It suits the genre very well. I don't know, man. Something about it. I might get to it eventually, but
I haven't played
I don't
Metroid Dread yet, but I like the Metroid series a lot.
Right. I figured Casper would be all over that.
I was gonna get to it eventually. I like just Metroidvanias in general, and I mean Metroid started.
Yeah.
I played Psychonauts 2 though, and that game was it was like Psychonauts 1 with all the quirky characters, but the actual gameplay was so much more polished.
Yeah. I think and actually, Evan, I'm real surprised you haven't played Psychonauts 2.
Yeah, I was thinking that maybe at some point they would do like a native PS5 version or something, so I could like play it in that crisp 4K.
Right.
But I don't. That was just
right.
like wishful thinking. I have not seen a rumor that that's gonna happen or anything like that.
I didn't know it didn't.
I was putting it off.
I thought it would have come out to PS5.
So
yeah, I mean you can play it
on PS5, right?
But yeah, it's a PS4 game.
So and I don't know if a PS5 port will ever come because obviously they're owned by Microsoft.
Yeah.
So that's probably like cutting ties. Like, all right, PS4, that's it, because PS4 release was kind of set in stone from like their Kickstarter, right? So you probably imagine that maybe Microsoft's like, yeah, no.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah.
Is it on PC too?
Yeah, it's on PC.
Oh yeah, so I played it on PC, day one with Game Pass, and I kind of blasted through it, whatever weekend it came out. I think Riley was like away, so I just had nothing to do, and I just blocked out like 48 hours.
Yeah, the same thing with me.
Yeah,
I pretty much played the whole game in one go. It was really fun. I liked all the.
How long does it
worlds.
take you to play it?
I think it's like a 20-hour game. No, it's less than that. I think it's like 10 or 15.
I think it's closer to 15, and obviously it has it's got the side quests and side collectibles and stuff like that, so it could take you longer. But I bet the main quest is probably like 14 or 15.
Mm-hmm.
So. Looking at our stuff, I wonder if 2021 is like the year of like 10 to 15 hour games.
Dude, I think so, and it's been
more
my
so
jam.
than other years that we've done our lists and stuff. Like, there's just a lot of shorter games on here.
I'd be really happy if games in general were just 20 hours or less.
Yeah, it's hard to find the time.
That's the sweet spot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's the complaint of every like over 20-year-old gamer is just like, I don't fucking have time.
Yeah.
Right.
But
I just think with Psychonauts 2, like Tim Schafer's writing, I think this is the best game he's ever written, right? I think he's obviously one of the greatest game writers of all time. And this kind of everything about this game, it's like the pinnacle of everything Double Fine has been working towards, I guess.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's kind of interesting too, because in the first game, what's his name, Raz, he kind of just jumps into people's heads, and this whole game is more about actual mental illness. Like, I think it tries to actually teach real life mental illness, not just like video game stuff.
Right. Like, yeah, I think of like that guy who's like the El Tigre kind of vibe world where you're like, you know, it's like very like Mexican inspired, and like he's just like afraid of failure or something, like is what it ends up being.
Yeah.
And his fears like beat him up, and you have to beat his fears or something. I'm trying to remember exactly, but everything feels like like heavy-handed and more so like conceptual, like combating fear versus what you're saying is it like more like combating like a specific problem.
So like
so like there's themes of like anxiety or addiction or but I think the way that it's told, right, you know, maybe if you're a kid, you're just playing Psychonauts 2, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there are themes on like, saying you're sorry, like making up with your long lost friends, you know what I mean? There's stuff like that for a younger audience, but also, you know, these heavier themes of addiction and stuff like that. I think Tim Schafer did a really good job. I will say that kind of the same thing that kind of bugs me with Psychonauts 1 is kind of the gameplay. So Psychonauts 2, even though it is better, it's objectively better. I don't think you can argue that. It is kind of that time, of that era. So I think that's definitely where it falls a little bit for me. But I still think that, is still a really, really great experience.
Yeah. I like platformers, so for me it's just a plus.
Right.
I feel like obviously Metroid is also like of its time too. I think it tries to modernize some aspects of that formula, but other games have done it better. And I definitely think Psychonauts probably wins out on writing. Metroid Dread has awful scenario design in my opinion. Like there's not a lot of like dialogue and stuff, but like as far as like narrative and scenario design, like what is actually happening in the game, I think it's one of the dumbest stories I've played.
Oh, really?
One of the stories where the most times I've been like, what the fuck? Like, that doesn't make sense.
Right.
I know.
At least a couple times. And, like, a lot of time you're just going from place to place, without
that's
much
one of,
narrative thread.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the critiques I've kind of, seen from Metroid Dread is, like, seems like there's, mini bosses or bosses, like there's no enemies in between. Is that actually the case?
That's
like
not true. I don't know. There's enemies between, like
yeah. What's the guy who chases you and you gotta like avoid him?
Oh,
the Emmys. Yeah. And they're like a cool idea. I just think like the experiences with them are like it's fun, it's interesting, it's just short. Like the amount of time you actually spend interacting with the Emmys probably makes up like 4% of your entire playthrough. And they're marketed as such this, and at first they are these like emotional high points because you can't kill them. You just have to run, and like the first time you're doing that, you're like, like you're freaking out, and then by the 4th or 5th time you interact with an Emmy, you're kind of like over it because you realize when it kills you, it's not that big of a deal. You just spawn at the start of the room that you were just in.
Okay.
Unlike if you were to die, I think in the normal world it spawns you all the way back to your like last save point. It's really not punishing at all. So a lot of the stakes are taken down once you realize that. So I don't know. I mean, Metroid Dread, it was good. It has problems. All right, I think let's just put it to a vote.
All
right. Everybody for Psychonauts, go. Hands up. That's a 3. That's all 3 for Psychonauts.
All right. No, Evan, definitely like, especially if we're gonna be doing like more stuff on Game Pass or whatever.
Yeah.
It's Psychonauts 2 is definitely your thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think you would like it too.
Yeah, I will play it. It's just I'm being late. I've been too lazy to play it. All right, Forza Horizon 5 versus Back 4 Blood. So, I haven't played Forza Horizon 5, but I did play Forza Horizon 4, and I have played Back 4 Blood. So I think I can make an informed decision here at some point.
Okay.
I don't really like car games. so
yeah, so that's like the most surprising thing is that not a car guy, not a car game guy, right? But something about Forza Horizon 5 like really clicked for me. And I think that's kind of like, okay, I'm talking about Game Pass again. It sounds like I'm a spokesperson for Game Pass. Yeah. I know, but because it was on Game Pass, I was like, oh, I'm going to give it a shot, right? Mm-hmm. I fell in love with the game because everything you're doing is kind of like this mini progression. You're always unlocking like new cars. You're like, so it's scratching this like collecting itch that I have.
Yeah.
And this is like the first car game in, I don't even know how long, like 15 years that I've like actually fell in love with. Mm-hmm. Obviously, the graphically the game looks amazing. I've been playing on the Series S or whatever, and it's kind of like a games as a service model or whatever. So every couple of weeks there's something new cars to unlock, new races, that sort of thing. So it kind of just drops you in this open world, and you're just slowly unlocking new parts of the map. And you're just racing, having a good time, unlocking new cars. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I think for me, the reason why I put it, so high on my games of the year, was just because it took me totally by surprise. Like in any other year, I probably would not have given it a shot. But yeah, it's just definitely one of the better experience I had this year. I'm still playing it all the time. Like I still, load it up, do a couple races here and there. So yeah.
Is there like
no? Those map games are really fun. I mean, they are like engineered to generate dopamine in your dumb monkey brain. Like,
100%.
I know. Sorry, you go.
Okay, I know that I liked Burnout Paradise, and a lot of times I would just drive around on the map when I was younger, and I like that. Is that kind of what Forza is like? We just kind of drive.
Yeah. So like there's the regular like Forza Motorsport series, and then there's Forza Horizon, and Forza Horizon's like Burnout Paradise. Like it's just just drive around, and you will like roll up to a spot, and it'll be like start race, and then you'll be racing a few a minute later, and it is fun. I didn't play Forza Horizon 5 like I said, but I played the ever loving shit out of Forza Horizon 4.
I think this, from what everybody says, I didn't play 4, 3 or any of the games in the past, but this is kind of the culmination of everything that they've been working on, and they definitely, like the location is really cool. It's got varying, environments and stuff like that. In Mexico, this one takes place in Mexico.
Mm-hmm. I would really like to play it to compare and contrast against like Forza Horizon 4 because I didn't get it because I had played Forza Horizon 4 so recently. Like I played it in 2021. And so I was also playing this other game, Riders Republic, when that came out, and it's literally the exact same formula, just with like extreme sports and snowboards and shit instead of cars. And it's literally the exact same thing otherwise. So I didn't feel like this strong desire to be playing two types of the same game, I guess.
Yeah, I think so. Casper, try to sell us on
Back 4 Blood.
Back 4 Blood.
Okay. So you guys played Left 4 Dead, right?
Yeah,
of course.
Okay,
yeah,
so it's pretty much...
and I played Back 4 Blood a little bit.
Okay. Oh, okay. So everyone's played Back 4 Blood. To be honest, there's a lot I like about Back 4 Blood and a lot I don't like. One of the things I don't like, I hate whenever games advertise as like, from the creators of Left 4 Dead or the creators of whoever, because a lot of the time it's only like one or two people. It's not the full team,
Right. Well, you can't capture lightning in a bottle, right? Like just like it is weird.
It doesn't even matter. If
I think of like Balan Wonderworld or whatever, Balan Wonderland or whatever, from the creator of Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah,
it's like
right.
Yeah, but so if it wasn't advertised as that, I think I would like it more because it kind of puts your expectations a lot higher. I think it actually makes the games worse because people get so excited for it. But it has a lot of cool mechanics. So it has like those, I don't know what you would call them, just like random, every map has...
they
like
call them cards in the game.
Yeah, it's like the
but they're
card
modifiers.
system.
Yeah, they're just modifiers
to the gameplay experience. Yeah.
So like the same map, the next time you play it could be foggy or have different enemy types or like a boss enemy, and that really is cool. It's cool how the you can just keep replaying the game and it will change the levels.
Yeah. It's crazy to think that we would replay like Left 4 Dead, like this same map, the same scenarios, fucking over and over and over again.
Yeah, that was kind of my that's definitely a plus for Back 4 Blood. I think that the card system adds like enough twist to keep playing, keep leveling up your character. Like there's actual progression, right? Which I definitely appreciated. I think that I don't know. I think it's for me, because I played through probably about like 3/4 of it with Casper, right?
Yeah.
But we didn't. I didn't end up beating. I don't know if Casper has since gone back and beaten it. Yeah. So I think that for me is like, I don't know. You think about it in your head, like, oh, dude, I would love to play another Left 4 Dead type game, and then you play it, and it's like, oh, okay, I have like, hundreds and hundreds of hours on. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's kind of in your mind's eye, it seems very appealing, but then when it gets down to it, it ends up being, I think not enough difference to you.
It is pretty different. I think one of the problems is they add too many modifiers. So like Left 4 Dead, the guns, they're just like that's the set gun. But in Back 4 Blood, they all have levels, and like even the attachments maybe aren't a problem, but just the fact that each gun has like a specific level, and sometimes the same gun can have a higher level. It's just kind of weird.
Right.
I feel like that's too much.
Yeah.
If they just
I feel like they had to add that to like offset, right, like the modifiers and stuff, like because they try to make the game harder on you, but like if you suck at video games, right, like you need those additional boosts to the weaponry. I mean, I thought that was kind of messy and confusing when I first started playing. I do think the cards themselves are like a crazy cool system though. Like, introducing, rogue-like mechanics, I guess you'd say, into this game was very cool. I
think it would have been cool if, so you know how Left 4 Dead has the director and he kind of like changes the AI or whatever, changes the game depending on how well you're doing.
Yeah.
It would be cool if Back 4 Blood did that, where instead of like getting a card, maybe halfway through the level you're doing too good and then it becomes foggy.
Yeah. I do think they claim to have that same technology in there, but
it doesn't have as much feel polish like it or something.
Yeah.
I think I think for me, I definitely would like to go and beat it, Casper. Like, maybe that's something we could work on. But I think for me it was just, you like you're saying, Casper, you set the expectations so high, and then game comes out, you play it, and you're like, oh, gotcha.
Yeah. I like all the different new enemies, and like the huge bosses can be pretty cool to fight. Like that one that comes out of the ground.
Those moments are definitely memorable.
Yeah.
I do feel like when I was playing Left 4 Dead, I was in high school and I had tons of friends to play with like unlimited free time, and I just think it's maybe a style of game that's meant for people with like large groups of friends that can just sit and play it all the time. Yeah. And that's not me anymore. I mean, I have friends, but we all have different schedules. It's really hard to get a crew of 4 people to actually play together and play. The bots in that game are insanely brain dead. They are so dumb.
That's one of the things I don't like. The game is hard. Like, it's really hard, but the bots aren't.
They're like a detriment.
Yeah.
They like don't follow, like they don't go to the end goal, and you're just like, come on, Bob, please.
Yeah. And not only that,
that's definitely If we had a group of 4, like if we had 4 people right when the game came out, I bet you it'd be a lot better. But it ended up just being me and Casper, and then another thing was
the matchmaking.
There was a lot of
was bad.
The matchmaking was like just broken.
Yeah.
Because me and Casper were trying to do crossplay, because I was on.
No, we were on the same
playing
thing,
not through Steam. Were we both doing it through?
The
Game Pass?
Yeah, Game Pass.
Okay, so we would try to crossplay, and it would just like totally break with other people. Like it'd be me and Casper, and then you end up having 2 bots, and it just was not fun, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely would have been a way more fun with a crew of 4. But
yeah, I've never played with a crew of 4. I played with a crew of 2 mostly, and then one time with 3, and never with 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bar. Did you get to the bar scene?
Yes, that is fucking
cool. That was
awesome.
cool.
That was a cool.
That was really cool. Like that was just. I feel like though, like they were like, it's one of those ideas in a game where it almost feels like that was the idea first before like a lot of the other stuff. You know, they were like, yo, like the types of things when you're consuming media where you can picture someone sitting down and being like, dude, you know, it'd be fucking sick. You know, like, which is cool, but I just wish it like wasn't so obvious because the rest of the game is like not as cool as that moment is.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, that's
someone. As I was playing it, my friend was saying it's a reference to the bar scene from Shaun of the Dead.
Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah, which I didn't realize.
With the music going on in the background.
The game had real weird pacing because like that scene was paced all right. But then Kody, you remember when that one part where we're like running up the mountain and then you have to like blow the mountain or the mine or something, and it just ends.
Hi, my name's Bob Mountain.
Yeah,
please blow me.
It just.
But yeah,
dumb joke.
100% Casper, you are right because
you had to
pacing. Evan, do you agree with that? Like the pacing was just really weird.
Yeah, it was really all over the place in the little that I played.
Yeah,
I got just past the bar scene, like maybe 2 more missions after that.
Okay, so
before my friends also fell off. Sorry,
you probably didn't get to this mission. Pretty much, it's like it was pretty cool. You were like running through a town, and like you're pretty much just running all the way up a mountain. And when you get to the mountain, you're supposed to like close the mine, and you have like these big rockets, and you just load all the rockets in, or mortars, wherever they were, real fast, and then that's just it. It just cuts immediately to the cutscene, and you're like getting away.
Like there's no big wave right at the end and stuff like that, so it definitely has weird pacing.
There was a lot of build up for nothing.
Yeah, that is lame. I don't like that at all. To hear
and some missions are like 3 times longer than other ones.
Yeah,
that I also thought was weird. Yes, I noticed that really quickly while I was playing it. That the length was super inconsistent, so you didn't know like how much you were committing in terms of time. The game also doesn't make it clear like how the progression works. You know, because like usually in Left 4 Dead you would sit down for like one whole set of levels. What did they call them, like movies or something? Like they were always like had a title and like a movie cover,
right?
But like this I wasn't sure if I was supposed to play a whole act or if I was like able to like play a little and leave, and I still don't even remember what it ended up being.
I don't think I think if you left you had to restart.
Right, I can't keep like my
it
run
was very
going.
Strange. Yeah, it's like if you join Casper's, then you're jumping on his run, but he can see like where your run was left off, and I think it's character based too. So if you jump on another character, they're in a different spot in the run.
That's another thing. They have a bunch of characters.
That's true.
You know, I'm supposed to be defending this game. The more I talk about this.
So I did, that would be a fun game for us 3 to hop on and just try to maybe just try to finish like
it out.
The story, like just try to finish it.
Yeah.
But there's no way in my mind does it beat Forza Horizon 5.
Yeah. All right. Votes for Forza Horizon 5. 3, 2, 1.
Oh shit!
He's been convinced.
I like Burnout Paradise. Like I don't usually like car games, but I do like Burnout Paradise. And when I was a kid, I remember I just drove around the city. And that's all I did.
Yeah, you would like this. I mean, it's a really similar game.
And it has other things to do besides just driving, right? So like there's different other things to do besides racing. Like there's other different events that you can do. There's even a battle royale mode in there, dude. Come on.
Yeah. Oh wait, there is.
Yeah, it's actually pretty fun. Like you start out as like slow cars, and you're all trying to escape the zone.
This is in 4 too.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a pretty neat idea. I think that, and then like you find like a faster car somewhere out in the world, and you can become that car.
Okay.
And then you're chasing and trying to run into other people or
that actually sounds
race
really
to certain
fun.
spots to beat them. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, I'm convinced.
Yeah, no contest from Casper. All right, we got Valheim versus Returnal. Kody, have you played both of these games?
Yeah. So, man, I'm real sad that I didn't get to play more of Valheim. I think I don't remember when it came out, but I convinced Greg, Christian, Casper, I convinced everybody to get it, and we started a server, and then I just never played. I played for maybe. Yeah, I played for maybe 5 hours. I think it's another one of those things because it's a game on the PC. I just couldn't dedicate that much time to it.
I think at this time too, Greg wasn't doing anything, so I would log in and he just had an entire town built.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, right.
And, I got the old job. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
I could only play on the weekend. I think you guys had finished a boss or something. Yeah. So I just missed out on it. But definitely Returnal was on my short list for game of the year. I think it probably would have been 7 or 6, just out of the top 5. I wish I was better at Returnal because I really liked it. I like the vibe. I like the gameplay. Another roguelike, big fan of those. I'm not going to talk about Hades. But yeah, I think I only beat maybe the second or third boss. So I couldn't break through, and I never found my rhythm, I guess.
Yeah, it is fucking hard, and it's not like most other roguelikes that have come out, in the last 5 years, where it just makes it easier on you as you play. Hades, you get, you have avatar strength that improves, but in this game, you get, it's more like Binding of Isaac, where you get items, you unlock new items that have new effects, but it doesn't per se make the game any easier. You just have to get good. There's no other option.
I never played the game. Do the items carry over to the next run, or is it?
No. It's always starting from the top. I mean, so you unlock new items to use in future runs. Basically, that's the only things that
But you just have to have that magic run where you just zip through the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I never really could. And the runs were long. The runs are wicked long. The runs
are not short, yeah.
So it's all right, if I want to play right now, I have about 3 hours, and then you only get to the second boss, and it's all right, crap, well, I can't.
Yeah. Since you played, they added the ability to suspend your run, so
which I think nice. They did it in a really smart way where you can't, save scum, I guess is a common thing where people, I'm about to die, I'm going to back it up. Because once you reload your save, it deletes it. So you have to keep going, as far as I understand.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So when you say suspend your run, you mean just you save it and you can turn off your PS5 and everything?
Right, yes. Oh, okay. Yes, it closes the game.
I can eat dinner.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And yes, and then when you load back in, the save deletes itself. So you can only have one save that exists only when you're not playing the game.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that kind of change might have been a little too late because I feel like a lot of people might have, definitely fell off the game before they could implement that change because that's more recent.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely Returnal is. I still think about it sometimes. I really like that alien creepy vibe,
Yeah.
But yeah, it's
that game did always interest me. I don't have a PS5, so
Yeah.
But
it was. I think it was the most fun I had with a roguelike this year. Trying to think. I don't think I put any other roguelikes in. No, I didn't. So I just thought it was wicked fun, and I did eventually crack the code, and that feeling reminds me of when I had figured out Dark Souls finally after bouncing off of it for the first 3 years it was out.
That's the thing. It's I started to, from playing Returnal, I started to finally get it, get that formula. That makes people so excited about Dark Souls and stuff like that. Because I played Bloodborne, right? I didn't get very far. It was kind of the same thing.
Just too hard.
And then I played Sekiro. I really respected what Sekiro was trying to do, but it was more of the same thing. But Returnal, I was I'm getting it. Yeah. I think because it was a roguelike, creepy atmosphere, sci-fi. It's kind of a big mix of everything that
appeals to
I would
you.
like.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think that was the closest I've come to liking a game like
Yeah.
Freudian slip. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Those aliens are hot, dude, with all the tentacles and stuff. I mean, yeah. I mean, just to pitch it, I don't think I can do any better pitching it other than to say I've not played a better third-person roguelike ever.
I don't think I know any other third-person roguelike.
Like Risk of Rain.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I like it better than Risk of Rain 2, and I really like Risk of Rain 2. So
when did that game come out?
But it's tough. Risk of Rain 2, like 2 years ago in 1.0, I think. 2020 in 1.0, I believe.
But, guys, try to convince me more on Valheim. You know what I mean? 'Cause I'm so sad about Valheim.
Well,
that
Valheim
game
was
took over
sick.
the internet for a while.
I can do some talking about Valheim. I mean, it sucks that you had that experience where your friends continued without you, and I totally get that, and that happens to me.
I don't blame
with basically
them, you know what I mean?
every
I don't blame you,
video
Casper.
game. What?
I don't blame you, Casper. Just for the record, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I was trying to keep up too.
It's like, guys, okay, we can log in, but everybody just like stand still.
Yeah, like do not beat the first boss.
Yeah.
Like wait for me for a month. Like I'm not gonna do that to them, you know. So.
Yeah, I mean that's what happened to me basically with Back 4 Blood. Like that's why I didn't play that much of it, because my friends were like, "Oh, this is sick," and then by the time I actually bought it and had time to play, they were like, "We beat it and we're over it." Like,
Classic.
So I feel like it is almost fun enough though to play by yourself. I did play by myself for like 6 hours and I had fun. One day when I was waiting for my friends to get on, I just played by myself, and then they never got on that night. And I just had played like 6 hours by myself.
I did that too a lot. Just like because a lot of times I couldn't even be on the same time everyone else was on, so I just build up my own stuff.
Yeah, got your own world.
Yeah.
And like I mean it's if you like Minecraft, I mean that's honestly like kind of an important thing you have to enjoy if you're the type of person. I don't know if we've talked that much about Minecraft, Kody, on the podcast or like
not really
in our personal lives. Do you like Minecraft?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it had its moment, right? I don't think like recently.
You don't do the thing where you go back for like 3 weeks a year and play it.
Kind of like every once in a while, Casper will like start a server and everybody's really pumped about it, and we'll all jump on. But it's kind of the same thing where it's just
it like dies immediately.
You can work on your own stuff, but it's just they always eclipse me or pass me wherever I'm at, and download new mods and stuff. I can just never keep up. But definitely, back in the day, it had its time.
Yeah.
Let me tell you. You know what I mean?
Mm. Yeah. So I feel like it fills a similar niche in my life. Like I didn't really do a Minecraft kick this year comparatively to my previous years.
I like that everything you did, you were always progressing. Like your jump was just leveling up, like you jump or whatever, right? Like I think that's a pretty cool idea.
Reminded me of like watching my friend play Oblivion and how he would just jump around the map to increase his like acrobatics or whatever.
Yeah.
Right.
And just always holding jump. It's a fun game. I didn't beat it though, so I can't like speak too much about the progression after a certain point. Like I feel like I built a base I was really happy with, and then I had to like cross an ocean to fight the
the tree one?
The second or the third boss. I don't remember who it was. The big tree guy, though.
Yeah, it was the second one, I think.
Yeah. And we did that. And we crossed the ocean. And we started a new base. And I was like, fuck this, man. Like, I missed my old base on the other side of the ocean. And we built a portal. But, like, it just kind of felt a little like I had gotten what I wanted out of it by building that dope-ass base.
The progression kind of drops. I think...
Right. Like, I felt like it was really quick at first.
Yeah, after the second boss, it kind of... Once you get to like that desert swampy area or whatever, it just peters off. It takes so long to do anything, and the enemies are so much tougher.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. It looks
all right.
nice,
Let's take it to a vote. It does look nice. I do really like the art style.
I do like the art style. It's really cool.
Technically, it's not even completely out yet.
Okay.
True.
Yeah. All right. Let's take it to a vote. Everybody for Valheim. Let's go.
Just me.
Everybody for Eternal.
Sorry, Casper.
Sorry, Casper.
I'm kind of tossed up between them. I never played Returnal, so I can't really say too much about it. But
Returnal would be your jam, Casper. I would think so.
I don't know. It does look really interesting, but there is some stuff about it that turns me off.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
But I guess I won't know.
Well, you're big into Dark Souls, right? Are you
I am.
like the Dark Souls?
But I don't know. Can you really compare it though to Dark Souls? I mean.
It is one of those things where
like overcoming like huge obstacles. I guess. Kind of
but that's more of like a difficulty thing. Like, otherwise, it does not have really anything in common with Dark Souls, right? Like it's got
not
no
the gameplay,
RPG
not the
mechanics.
gameplay, yeah.
There's no like give and take between you and the enemies really in the way that you do in Dark Souls with like blocking and parrying and stuff. Like it's really just running around and shooting.
Right.
And the things have a fuckload
feels
of
so
health.
good though. It's very fast. That's the greatest part.
Right.
Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah. Give it a shot sometime if you ever get the chance.
Forget PS5.
Okay. Guardians of the Galaxy and Resident Evil 8. I don't think Casper has played either of these games, right?
No.
So we
all right,
Casper.
Casper, what do you think about these games? What do you know about them?
Let's see. So, Resident Evil, that's the vampire lady, right?
Oh hell yeah!
Yeah.
Yep.
And Guardians of the Galaxy.
Dude, she was so tall at the Game Awards. You remember how tall she was?
Yeah.
Guardians of the Galaxy. That I didn't even know that came out this year. I heard about it. It's
all right. So we got IDK and tall vampire woman from Casper.
Yeah.
Let's hear Resident Evil first, Evan.
Okay.
Let's hear it.
All right. I don't know if I've done this on the podcast. I guess I feel like we had.
It was
early
early
came
in
out
the
while
year.
we were doing it. Yeah, it was pretty early in the year, relatively speaking. This game is so fucking awesome, mainly because it's short as hell. It took me like 10 hours to beat. I haven't replayed it yet, but I do like it's short enough that unlike most games that I play, I can envision myself replaying it. So that's just I want Casper to make a special note of that fact. I did pay full price though for a 10-hour game, so that's also maybe a detriment. Yeah. But it was such an awesome 10 hours. The game is the silliest horror game I've ever played in the best possible way.
Like campy.
And I think it's super campy.
Yeah. Okay.
It is so beyond campy, and I feel like I have already said this on the podcast, but like just the amount of silliness is like in stark contrast compared to Resident Evil 7, which I like still haven't done the last area of because I was just like so stressed out playing it. Like my blood pressure would spike while I would play it and shit.
Right.
And this game is like more like buckets of blood and just like, whoa, that's crazy and spooky. You know, like it had this like much more fun treatment of the subject matter overall. And I think sometimes it definitely did it intentionally, and other times it wasn't intentional. Like stuff was silly, totally not on purpose.
Would it use the silly moments to kind of like break up the horror to like?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Like, and nothing was like overtly silly. Like it's not like they were cracking jokes. It's just like sometimes like stuff would just like there would be more levity and stuff. And then there'd be moments where the game was trying to be serious and you just couldn't take it that seriously. And I think these are almost the golden moments in the game that make it that much better. Is like, a good example is the fact that this is like an Eastern European village, and for some fucking goddamn stupid idiot reason, they cast American voice actors. So they're like, Mikhail, get over here and help Svetlana. And it's just like, give her a hamburger. And it feels so weird and stilted and out of place.
I think.
But it's almost what makes it magic, I guess.
Didn't the lady who voiced the vampire lady, didn't she win an award or something for her voice?
Yes,
acting?
she
Yeah.
did. And
For her
actually,
performance,
she was good. And
Yeah.
you know, I gave her a pass for being American because she's like old as time itself and kind of talked with a semi-Britishy accent a little bit, but you could tell she was American.
What about the main character, Ethan, right?
Yeah, and
Wasn't
he would
like
just
a
be
little
like,
bitch?
dude, he would get. This is the other thing that was just so silly about it. I mean, it's like watching something with like hyper gore, but like buckets of blood and like something that's not realistic, like not like Saw or anything, but like he would just get like fucking maimed, you know, like in a cartoonish way, like get his arm ripped off. And he'd
Doesn't he
be
pour
like,
liquid on his
"Oh
arm,
fuck!" Like, "Oh shit!" And that's all he'd say, bro. Like he'd be like, "God damn it!" It's like, yeah, dude, God damn it, indeed. Like, holy fuck. You know, he like never like had an extreme enough reaction to anything that was going on.
Like it didn't match. It didn't match up. Yeah.
There's like I don't think this isn't a spoiler, and the game has been out for quite a while. And this happens like in the first like 2 hours, but like the whole reason you go to the village is to like recover your daughter who has been stolen by shadowy people, and one of the first collectibles you start needing to collect are pieces of your daughter in a test tube, like in these like vials. And he's like, "You're telling me this thing's my fucking daughter?" And the guy is like, "I am." And he's like, "Great." Like basically like, "I'm on it." Like he doesn't really like. The guy tells him like it's got when you put the pieces back together or whatever, like you'll find her, she'll come back. And he doesn't question why that's not the fucking craziest thing he's ever heard in his life, more so than just being immediately shocked and then immediately accepting. And none of this is a dig at the game. Like, I think that's fucking awesome. It's like almost like it's a video game that is so aware that it's a video game, without being like meta. Like it's not like press the pause button, or something. Like it's
right.
I think it's aware of what medium it is in the best possible way. And the gameplay is just like super tight and quality. I think like the shooting's good. It's like walking around shooting stuff. It's more so Resident Evil 4 than Resident Evil 7 for sure. Both tonally and in relation just to like what you're doing. Because Resident Evil 7 is feels to me like way more linear. And this one was definitely linear, but like Resident Evil 4, you could like explore the areas. Excuse me, gosh, I like have to burp. You could explore the areas like kind of to your heart's content and find like lots of secrets, where I felt like that wasn't so much a focus in Resident Evil 7. All right, I think that's the best pitch I can give you on Resident Evil 8. That was long.
Okay. No, that's a great pitch. So I think for Guardians of the Galaxy, right? I think that it is kind of the underdog, and it will be the underdog whenever people talk about like 2021 games.
Sure.
But I think that, whenever they would show it at like E3, right? Because it was shown at, quite a few number of events. And everybody's like, what the hell is this? Get this out of my screen, right? It kind of looked like, in the same way that when Avengers was getting announced, right? When you see the people playing like these characters that have been in all the movies, right? Like, that guy's not Tony Stark. What the hell are you talking about? He looks nothing like Robert Downey Jr., right? I think what Guardians of the Galaxy does so well is that the writing is like super top notch. There is so many different, not a dialogue tree like nothing like that will drastically like super change up the rest of the story. But there are moments where you have to make decisions on what you want to say as Peter Quill, the main character. Yeah. Star-Lord. And I think that through all the talking with your crew, kind of in sort of like a Mass Effect type way, in between like the downtime of the combat, I think it does such a great job of making you care about your crew, right? Everybody's got their own backstories, and you're starting to learn more about them. They're all pretty. A lot of them are sad, right? And you kind of feel for your crew, and it's just this band of misfits that, they have no other family but themselves, right? And you really start to feel that. I think a thing that might not be for everybody is kind of the moment to moment when you're in combat. You're kind of controlling, and from like a bird's eye view, you're Star-Lord shooting down, but you're controlling them. To like, hey, slash that character, or hey, Rocket, blow that guy up, right?
Okay.
That might not be everybody's jam, but I think for me it works really well.
So you don't get to play as the other characters; you just kind of direct them.
Right. So exactly. Okay. So you are Star-Lord throughout the entire game, throughout the whole, and you're controlling them in combat.
Yeah.
But I guess that kind of is a good thing, because whenever you're talking to them, you're not talking to a character that you can play. You know what I mean? Like, these characters exist. And
outside
they are your
of
friends.
You as the player.
Exactly,
yeah.
Right. So I think that might have been a good decision overall to not let you play as, Drax or Groot or whatever.
Yeah. Okay.
I think that was a complaint people had about Final Fantasy 15 too. Like, just as another game about 4 homies.
Right.
Yeah, I think the game would be hurt if I felt like I was making decisions on behalf of these characters and stuff.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
As far as like, I think I think so. Yeah, the story, the dialogue are really top notch. The gameplay is pretty cool. Some enemies do feel a little bullet spongy. I think it's kind of hard in a game like this where you're fighting aliens or waves of people that all kind of look the same. It does feel a little bullet spongy at times. Some parts that are kind of not so great. It just needs a little bit of polish. Or like the animation. I think sometimes it looks a little janky. But it kind of has that kind of B movie feel. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right. Kind of like a double A feel type of game where there's not really many. It's starting to come back, but those types of games are a little, gone, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think for me, Guardians of the Galaxy was definitely a surprise, and I think that these like portrayals, even though they take a lot from their movie counterparts, I think this is like in my head, the Guardians of the Galaxy. You know what I mean?
Full disclosure to the audience, Kody is a comic guy and has
Oh, yeah.
preconceived
So
notions about them that I don't have. And
right,
I'm sure
and that's
Casper
one of the
doesn't
cooler
have.
parts is because they have so much room to breathe, right? Like this game, I think I'm still playing it. I'm near the end, but I'm maybe like 16 hours in, right? So it's a pretty long game. Hopefully it's ending soon. It's getting a little it's getting a little too long.
See,
but
that's
that's
not
like
a
one of the
problem with
cooler
Resident
parts.
Evil 8, dude. It ends
10 hours
perfectly.
done.
10 hours and you're done.
Right.
It's awesome.
That is a cooler part is because in the movies they've only had 2 movies to kind of expand and introduce new characters and stuff like that. But this game pulls like some deep comic cuts. It's pretty cool to see characters come to life right from the page that you haven't seen in any other medium, right? So yeah, I think Guardians of the Galaxy for me was definitely a surprise, and you gotta give it a shout out, even if it doesn't win against Resident Evil. I think I'm okay with that overall. I'm excited to see what they do. If they do a second game or if they get another crack at a Marvel game. I think it's Eidos Montreal, right?
Yeah,
I think so.
So very, very hopeful to see what they do next because I think they kind of got a solid groundwork here for.
Did they also? Is it the
games.
same studio that did the Avengers game?
No, so that was
It was also Square Enix, but
yeah, I think maybe they were a support. Eidos Montreal might have supported Avengers, but it's more story based. It's more linear. It's not it's not your co-op loot boxy type.
Right.
Games as a service, right? It's just the game. That's it. It's done. Something I really appreciate about it as well. So yeah.
So, between what do you think shines brighter in that game? Your 2 things you talked about were the gameplay and the writing.
Yeah.
As
definitely the writing.
The writing shines brighter than the gameplay. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. There is so much. It must be like I don't know how many pages of dialogue for each character. It's kind of insane because they haven't really repeated like at all, like in any.
You mean like in the combat
when you're talking
when
to them? Even in the combat when they're fighting, like it's just kind of insane how much dialogue there is in this game. Which and the delivery is really well too. Even if the animation doesn't really, shine quite as bright as the line delivery is really good. I think the performances are great too. So yeah.
All right, Casper, you got any questions? Otherwise, we're taking it to the vote.
No, I don't think so.
All right, let's go. Guardians of the Galaxy. On 3. Oh,
sorry. I don't know. I forgot about the 3
1,
part. But
2, 3, go. Sorry, Kody.
that's all right. I'm okay with it. I tried.
I don't know. I like horror games and I like funny games. So anything that can combine it.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Loop Hero versus It Takes Two. We talked about Loop Hero, like we did an episode on it, so we all know a lot about it, so I won't try to pitch you guys on it very much.
Right.
But it, I think, is just a really fun game. That's all I got to tell you.
It definitely, it kind of stuck with me, but I kind of never got the urge to replay it or like to jump back into it. You know what I mean? I think when it came out, I put the 40 hours in or whatever, and I was just like, all right, I think I'm good. It's on Switch now. Maybe I'll jump back because it's on the Switch.
I feel like it works so much better though like I can't imagine it working well with a controller, I guess. Like
Right.
I guess the Switch does have a touchscreen, which
the touchscreen is
seems actually like the best way to play the game. So, but who wants to touch their Switch's touchscreen? You know, get your Switch OLED model all friggin' greasy with your gamer gunk. You know.
I mean, you guys know how I feel about Loop Hero. I don't know why. I just did not like that game.
Yeah. Right.
Right.
I do want to.
Yeah, we were all hot on it, but then Casper was.
I want to eventually give it another try someday, but for some reason, I don't know
it could
why.
just be you weren't in the right headspace, right? Like,
yeah. I mean, I think it also depends on like, you know, it's different from idle games, but it definitely like has its roots in idle games. And if you didn't, if you're not like an idle game guy, that definitely would discount it hugely. I don't think people. You're not really into card games either, right? Like,
no, not usually. I play some card games, but not often.
And I think that the cards are only kind of more of like a surface, like an aesthetic thing than like an integral gameplay mechanic. Right. You know, like the fact that they are cards.
Right.
So, but I feel like that sometimes turns people off to the thought of like having a deck and stuff for this. So
that doesn't really bother me though, because it was, like you said, it wasn't really. They were cards, but they were more just like to tell you.
They were. It didn't like lean on like card based mechanics really at all. So
it's not like not like enemies had cards or something.
Yeah. All right. Who wants to talk about It Takes Two?
I never played it. I played. Wait, no. What was the other game called? The other game by the same guy.
A Way Out.
Yeah, I really liked that game.
I think so. So Evan, did you play It Takes Two?
I did not. I just started playing A Way Out though yesterday.
Gotcha. So me and my girlfriend are slowly but surely making our way through It Takes Two. I think that obviously gameplay wise, like this game is top notch. Every single level throws a new thing at you, and it's like you use that thing in the level that not gimmick sounds bad, but right now we're in like a shooting stage, right? So trying to teach Riley like how to look around and like shoot stuff has been a joy, like just trying to teach her how to play this type of game, you know.
I feel like I would rage.
It's a little tough. But I think for me where It Takes Two kind of falls is in its dialogue. Like it's maybe its writing isn't so strong. The story, it kind of is there, but it's kind of, I don't know. It's not the standout of that game. It definitely is gameplay is king in that and It Takes Two.
I would say the same about Loop Hero too. I mean, the story is very. I pretty much just skipped all the dialogue in that game. I mean, it's not much.
I think the performances in It Takes Two are like kind of bad. I think
in like a fun way, like how I was talking about Resident Evil 8, or just like bad.
Kind of just bad. I think. Like so. The male character his name is Kody, right? And,
that's why he wants to play this fucking game, dude. God damn
it.
Dude,
the female, when she says, she's like yells Kody like all the time, and I just want to, I just want to end it. I just want to turn off the PS5. That's what I want to do. But yeah, it's kind of just, I can see why this game got so much praise, but definitely performance and writing are not its strong suit. I respect his vision though. What's his name?
Joseph Fares.
Yeah.
Fares.
I think
I don't know how he pronounces it.
He's kind of killing it right now. Him and his studio, they're kind of killing it.
Yeah. Hazelight, right?
Hazelight, yep. So I'll just say right now, I don't think, even though I'm the one who put it on here, it's probably not my vote. That's all I'm gonna say.
All right, let's put it to a vote then. Sounds good. Casper, you got any questions about either game? I mean, I know you played one of them.
I have no clue who they're going to vote for because I didn't like Loop Hero, but I don't know. Because I liked his previous games, like, It Takes
A Way Out.
Two Brothers.
A Way Out.
Yeah.
All the other games. I like how he focuses on co-op because it's not a lot
I think
of
that's super cool. Oh, yeah, 100%.
But that game itself just doesn't really interest me. The whole marriage fake counseling thing.
That's the thing. It's like, I don't even think, if you were gonna play It Takes Two, like don't care about that stuff.
Yeah.
Like don't even. It's really just the moment to moment gameplay. That's a lot of fun.
What is the gameplay like? Platforming?
there's platforming sections, there's kind of puzzly sections. That's the thing, right? Every level it kind of switches it up, right? So yeah, it's definitely keeps you on your toes, and you're not doing one thing for too long.
Sounds definitely fun for like to do with just any old other person. Like they don't necessarily have to be a gamer because they don't have to like build on mechanics and get good over time. In a traditional whatever video game, you got to learn to play the game and improve, which can be hard for people who don't really play games to improve at the rate a game, or certainly the rate that us seasoned elite video gamers would improve at gameplay. Like I did find it, just to compare and contrast a little bit, I played Cuphead co-op with Liz, and she does play a lot of video games, but like I think the skill curve between the two of us led to frustration, mostly on my part, to be perfectly honest, because I'm an asshole. But I'd be like, oh my god, Liz, you can't die, I need you to live.
That's one of the cool things about it's very forgiving in its gameplay, so it definitely is tailored to two people that maybe need one person that has played a couple games, but the other person could be totally new, and you're just walking them through it, and it's a lot of fun.
Did you guys
looking at it that way? But
about what's his name, Sakurai, the guy who made Smash, about how he played It Takes Two by himself because he
because he can play Smash with two controllers.
Oh,
like
funny.
one in each hand.
So
that's how he tests Smash.
It only takes one.
That's actually really funny. Yeah.
All right, I think Casper, if you got questions, ask them. You can't.
Let's just start the vote.
Okay.
Casper, I will say before we vote,
let's go.
I think if you played It Takes Two with your sister, I think you guys would have a lot of fun.
Yeah,
for sure. But
all right, let's vote. It Takes Two. 3, 2, 1, go.
I just don't like Loop Hero, but I don't know about It Takes Two, so.
Yeah, well, you don't like Loop Hero.
Yeah.
That's fine. And then that means voting for Loop Hero. Evan and Cody's not putting his hand up. So.
sorry.
Embarrassing me over here.
Kody abstains.
Dude, when my Steam Deck comes in, man, I'm telling you, it's gonna be Loop Hero. It's gonna be Inscryption.
Oh hell yeah!
A lot of cool stuff that I'll be able to, just plop down on the couch and play. So
all right, Halo Infinite and Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. Casper, tell us about Halo Infinite.
I've never been a big Halo guy. I never really played it that much. Like I wasn't playing it when it was big. Halo. What was it? Halo 2 and 3 were like when it was really peaked.
Yeah.
Probably like Reach. Yeah.
And then
like
Reach. Yeah, I think of Reach when I think of like my childhood spent playing Halo.
Yeah. So I don't have like any preconceptions of like what Halo should be. I know a lot of people complained about
running, sliding.
the cosmetics.
Right.
When it comes to cosmetics, like if that's the only thing that you have to worry about, I don't care. Like I don't care if Master Chief or whoever you play, the Spartan has cat ears. Doesn't change the gameplay, whatever.
Yeah.
So
is that a thing? Did they add cat ears?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my fucking god, that is so funny. And I can just picture the dudes like in their mom's basements just like fucking raging over it. John 117 would never wear cat ears. He is the Master Chief. Like
to be fair, they're like metal cat. They fit pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm sure people are mad about
it. It fits the art style, right? Yeah. It's not like some.
They're actually air intake devices.
The gameplay though, it's solid though. It's a solid multiplayer experience.
So we should be clear, right? Casper.
I'm only talking
Casper
about multiplayer. I never actually bought.
I don't think anyone's played the single player, right? Out of us three,
Yeah. So that's clear. It's just multiplayer. Have you played it, Evan?
No, I have it installed and I just haven't played it yet.
Okay. All the death match and all those game modes. What's the ball one called? Oddball. Where you have to like hold the ball.
Oddball.
Those are all pretty solid experiences. I really like the big maps though, especially capture the flag.
Big team battle.
Like if you have a bunch of friends, like that one night I played with Kody and a bunch of other people, capture the flag. That big map was really fun.
Is this like a private match, or you guys were like all on one team?
No.
So it's a mode called Big Team Battle, which is like, I don't know how many people, maybe 16 versus 16 or something on like a larger Halo map.
Yeah.
Objective based, so it's, Casper's like in the home base, like guarding the flag, and I'm like driving around in a Warthog with Ed in the back seat, like trying to get the flag. Yeah. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, Big Team Battle is definitely a standout mode in the multiplayer for sure.
Yeah, I could see that being really annoying if you're not playing with friends though, because there's no coordination. I never hear anyone talk. Yeah. I think the one time I heard anyone talk, they were speaking in French or like Spanish or something.
Yeah, I remember that.
If someone talks, it's usually another language, so it doesn't really help me. But it's, from what I've played, the gameplay experience is pretty solid for multiplayer. There's not much else I could really say about it.
I want to know what Kody thinks of it a little bit. Like, so you said you just like had no thoughts on how Halo should be. So Kody is someone who has some thoughts on how Halo should be. Like, how do you feel about it? How do you feel about it holding up Halo's legacy or not?
So yeah, like back in the day, I never had an Xbox, but it definitely, went over friends' houses and we like ran through the campaign and stuff like that, right? Mm-hmm. Halo's never been like that series that I've, been super attached to. So going into it, I was kind of like Casper, where I think this, in my opinion, is the best that Halo's ever felt. That might be like a controversial opinion. People say like 1, 2, and 3, I guess, like you shouldn't be able to like run, like you should be able to sprint, stuff like that. I think this does everything super well. It's a lot of fun to have that game that, especially now that it's free to play, that arena game that everybody can just log into and, play a couple matches.
Totally.
I think it feels really good. Coming from a multiplayer standpoint as well, I didn't play the single player. That's probably why it wasn't on my. It's probably like around like the 8 or 9 just for the multiplayer alone, which I think says a lot. I think they've come a long way, because like 5 was really bad.
5 had that weird mechanic. I had a friend that had 5. I didn't have an Xbox One, so I couldn't play it. But they had that weird mechanic with like cards, right, or something. Like there was like
it was so
there were like
different
loot boxes,
that
like pretty intrinsically tied into the multiplayer.
Yeah, it was so different that it was a turnoff for a lot of people. But I think this kind of brings it back to its roots. It does have like enough different things, but I think game to game, like it really is focused on getting those headshots and stuff like that. There aren't any like super cheesy ways to win or anything like that. I think they just did a really good job. And it's definitely always going to be installed, in case anyone wants to play. It's that kind of game. So, yeah.
I will say, the game, I don't know if it's like an optimization problem or they're just built for like next generation consoles. Sometimes the game runs okay, and other times I just can't run it. Like it just
they're still working on that. It definitely sucks, right when the game comes out. Like I know. For me, it never crashed, but like trying to play competitive with Ed, like he was dropping like every other map. It would just completely crash.
Oh, that sucks. No idea that why. Really sucks.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's like a one-person thing. I think a lot of people have that problem.
Yeah, for sure. I would say it's probably like, at least on PC, like maybe 1/4 of the population was having issues. That's what it seemed like, just from seeing everybody talking about it online and stuff.
Yeah.
But.
Do you play on classic Halo maps, or are they all new maps?
Yeah, I don't know if there are any maps that they brought back, but that would actually be really cool. I think
so. It's all new maps then.
Yeah, as far as I understand, it might be like some weird Halo 4 map or something, but nothing that stands out from 1, 2, 3 or
right. Ain't got Blood Gulch or anything. Or
right. I think that's they could really treat this as, and it seems like that's where they're going. Treat it as the definitive Halo, like games as a service, like why don't you just bring all the maps back, and you know what I mean, stuff like that.
Totally.
Maybe that's their
long
idea over time. Yeah, with like the battle pass and stuff like that.
And there's only a couple. My friend was telling me there's only a couple game modes, right? I'm just trying to get a good idea before I vote on this.
It's a little odd because when the game first came out, like when Casper's talking about, like when we first played, you would just queue in and you couldn't choose which game mode you wanted to play.
Oh yeah.
So like, let's say I hate capture the flag, because maybe I do. In the first like month or so, you just couldn't like not play Capture the Flag.
Yeah.
But now they have dedicated playlists, but it still is very limited. There's still only like 4 or 5 playlists you can queue into.
I don't actually know.
And that's how Halo always was, though, was like just a couple.
Right, and then people make like their own game modes, and those become like popular and stuff like that. So maybe that's something they could add later on as like a server list or something of fan-made game modes. But
Kody, I don't actually know. Does the game have like a server list where like you can make your own server or like join specific ones?
Yeah, it definitely has. It might be kind of primitive. Like you could start. I don't know, like if you can change so much of the game rules and stuff like that. I don't know how deep it goes, but you can definitely like start your own
private game,
Capture the Flag, private game, and invite all your friends.
I know a lot of multiplayer games now. I don't know why they're doing this, but they're just kind of getting rid of the server browser in general. Like it's just like join a match and then it does everything for you, which is convenient. But sometimes I like to choose what map or what thing I join.
Right. Yeah, I think it's because of the kind of crossplay nature, right? Like they're, it might even be bigger on Xbox than it is like on the console than it is on PC. So I think they're kind of have always been going towards that, that group of players first before they.
I actually don't even know how many people are playing now. Like I don't know if it dipped a lot or not. The player count.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see. I bet it's probably still up there. I think the hype for it was pretty real, and I think they kind of stuck the landing, right? Like when after all those delays and game directors, they cycled through like 4 of them, right?
I thought there was going to be serious dog shit after that.
Yeah, and speaking from specifically from a multiplayer perspective, I think they definitely stuck the landing. Single player, I honestly couldn't care less. I'll probably never. Yeah, it's not really for me, but.
All right. I'm just looking at the Steam chart and it has dropped. It's plateaued, but it did slowly drop.
Gotcha.
There's not nearly as many people as when it came out.
Well, yeah, I mean it's just like this cool new thing at first, you know?
Yeah.
It being free to play though, I think is huge. That's definitely the step they needed to take, competing with Warzone and Fortnite and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Like if you want to compete, you gotta be free.
I think that is cool.
Kind of how it is.
The multiplayer is free, but if you want the campaign, you just buy it.
Mm-hmm.
What do we think about Ratchet and Clank?
So Ratchet and Clank for me was one of the most fun experiences I had in the year for sure. It kind of especially after replaying Ratchet and Clank 2016, like right before this, you can kind of see like the progression of Insomniac, and this is, I think, in my opinion, it's the best Ratchet and Clank game. I don't know if that's controversial or not.
Highly.
But I think like as far as story beats go, the new characters Ribbit and crap, I forgot what the other bot the Clank's opposite.
Was it Rivet or Rivet? Like a frog or
Rivet?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I think their kind of story, right? They're being introduced as kind of these other dimensional counterparts, and you kind of see how, they are kind of enemies at the start, but they kind of grow closer, and that kind of, for me, it was like extra touching, I guess. Like seeing that play out.
Yeah.
And it was just fun to play another Ratchet and Clank game, man. Like just swapping between 20 different guns, and it just feels so great to play. And I think that you got that Pixar level animation, right? It's very quality game,
Yeah.
In the same way that maybe like Psychonauts 2 is kind of the culmination of everything that they've been working on. I think that this is kind of in the same way for Ratchet and Clank. I don't know if the series is going to continue. I don't know if Rivet and Clank's counterpart are going to be like the new spin-off characters. I'm not sure, but I definitely think it's definitely a standout, especially for PS5, like launch game. Can't play this on PS4, which kind of stinks for people who can't get a PS5. But yeah, it's kind of just like when you're looking at it, like Insomniac is doing a lot of the heavy lifting over at PlayStation. Like they got
dude for real.
Like Miles Morales was super standout early PS5 game. They followed up with Rift Apart. They're working on Spider-Man 2 and then like Wolverine.
That Wolverine game, yeah.
Probably another Ratchet and Clank game somewhere in there, right? So they're kind of, I think they do what they do very well, and every game they kind of put out is super quality. It definitely was maybe maybe like 4 or 5. I don't remember where I put it in the list that I sent Evan, but yeah, I had a lot of fun with it. I think if you got a PS5,
what are some of the downsides of it? Like, what were things you didn't like as much about it?
Some of the downsides, I guess. I honestly really can't even think of any. I think for me, it's just a really. This game has
no downsides. Fuck.
Like, so there's nothing really notable. I think this is just a solid like 8.5 game.
Like all the way through. Like yeah,
just like totally all the way through. Like
well
it does.
Baked. It's just solid.
Yeah.
Not stodgy.
Super polished.
How long is this game?
I guess maybe at the start. That's like one of the good parts, Casper. Is this is just your classic like 14-hour chunk of game and then you're done.
Okay.
I guess maybe a downside would to some people. I don't know if this necessarily matches for me, but some people might think that they tweak the formula a little too much, having like these more open world like kind of hub sections that you can go and explore and do that sort of thing. I like that stuff. So to me, I feel like that was a good change and it was kind of the right step that they needed to make. Right. I think traversal too is like you have like these like jet boots.
Hell yeah.
So like there were some sections where you're just like ripping all around the map doing side quests and stuff.
Can you do grinds? Because I really like doing grinds in
the
first Ratchet and
Clank. Classic grind sections.
Hell yeah.
Rail grinds.
Get your soap shoes on, baby. Do some grinding.
Is there a lot of back and forth in that game?
There can be, right? So like you can finish the main story in that hub section, but you can always come back to that planet if you want to, finish other things, find more collectibles and stuff like that. Okay. There wasn't like a lot of backtracking like from a story perspective. You might have had to like go to another planet you've been on like once or twice. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think technically too, I think this game is super standout, right? Like pulling the other dimensions to you and all of a sudden you're on like a different world. Other games have done that, in the past. Like I'm trying to think of, I think when they were kind of marketing this game, it did not end up being that like crazy new feature because I think other games have done similar things, right? Like,
so what happens? You just like open up a hole. Was it just like fast travel or?
Yeah, so like the whole thing is like it takes advantage of the PS5's like super fast storage, right? So it's loading other planets in the background or other dimensions in the background. And then you can just step right into that other planet and everything around you is different, right?
Oh, okay. So it's just fast travel. It looks nice.
Right, okay. Right. I think, definitely, to see where they go from all the PS5 and Xbox too. I think it has maybe not as fast of storage, but to see like where that can evolve, I guess is pretty cool. It's gonna be pretty cool to see.
Okay.
But yeah, that's what I think of Ratchet and Clank. Just super, super solid. If you got a PS5, there's no reason not to grab it. So.
All right, I think I'm ready to vote.
Yeah.
All right. Everybody for Ratchet and Clank.
Oh, there's no countdown this time?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I don't know why I didn't count down. You guys are just staring at me. I'm like, what? All three for Ratchet and Clank. Okay.
Yeah, I liked Halo.
Sorry, Halo.
But if it wasn't, if it wasn't obvious, it was kind of low on my list.
Yeah.
Right, and I think just no interest in playing like half of the game, right? Like the campaign's like this huge part of it that
sure.
To see where Master Chief's story goes, I couldn't care less, to be honest. Yeah. It just feels nice to play Halo multiplayer again.
I only play if friends are playing it too. Like I don't really have much of a reason to play it by myself.
Right.
All right. So the next two are Hitman 3 and Splitgate.
Hitman 3
I put Hitman 3 on the list, so I will
Hitman 3, I think that was a very early game. It must have been like January.
That was January of last year, yeah. I didn't think it was going to make my Kody list. I thought it was going to make I usually create a list. I make a list personally every year for myself just so I know what I liked that year and stuff.
Yeah.
And part of that list is like games I really liked that unfortunately did not come out that year that I just played that year. And I thought it was going to go on that list, but it's like literally like January like 9th or something. It's like really early 2021. I mean Hitman 3 I don't want to go on too long about it, but
is it like the other Hitman games like 1 and 2, the remakes of whatever?
The newer ones by why can't I think IO.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I think it looks the best it's ever looked. I mean, obviously, it's like next gen graphics and shit, and ray tracing, fucking whatever. I think the level design is really cool in 3 specifically. There's a mission where you don't know your targets and you have to figure out who your targets are. And
that's cool.
That's
the context
fucking awesome.
Clue kind of.
Yeah, like they didn't do that in any of the other ones. Comparatively, the stuff you do in 3 makes the other ones seem rather cut and dry. There's a part where you can like RP basically as a detective and like solve a murder.
Isn't that the Dartmoor?
Yeah, dude, it's sick.
Mission?
Yeah,
that's what people say. Is like, listen, don't like to convince you to keep playing this game. Like, play that mission. That's what everybody says.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, and the first mission is like fine. It's more like the same old, and it just like opens on like a very beautiful vista, which I think was the whole point of that level. Kind of, they were like, all right, we need a level that just like looks gorgeous, and then they figured it out after that fact.
Right.
But I think the gameplay is tighter. It looks better, like I said. And you can play the other 2 games in it, which is what I did.
Oh, really?
I played
That's
all
cool.
3 games in Hitman 3.
Do you have to buy 1 and 2 to play?
If you already own them, they just transfer. But
okay.
I think it has to be within like a console family and stuff. Like I've played them all on PlayStation. So, but because I had never actually finished 1 or 2. I'd played about half of both, and for some reason it didn't click. And I don't know why this is the one that made it click. I think it's one of those things where you just kind of got to crack the system, like figure out what it is that you're supposed to be doing.
Right.
I probably talked about this on the pod like last year, but like one of the things just for me that like why I initially bounced off Hitman was that I thought that using the like hint system was like cheating, right? Like I was like, I'm not a wimp. I don't need them hints. Turns out you totally fucking need the hints. Like it makes. Right. I think you're supposed to kind of use the hints, and then once you've seen all the hints have to offer you in terms of strategy, then you can start devising your own strategy, because it's basically like walking around a giant Rube Goldberg machine, and the hints tell you how it works, and it's really fucking hard to figure out how it works if you don't like listen to the hints.
It's pretty intricate, right?
It's super intricate, yeah. And so I think I was bouncing off because I would take hours to do a level, because I would be like just trying to figure it out on my own.
Right.
And so it's definitely way faster if you just use I think they're called like insights or something. I don't remember.
It's probably more like fulfilling, I guess, right? Like to actually.
Totally. And and those are like the more finely crafted gameplay experiences too. I mean, it is cool to like kill the person with like a hammer from 50 feet away. Like that's sick.
Yeah.
But being able to like go through these gameplay experiences that are much more handcrafted, like with the Dartmoor thing, like you could just go and kill the lady and leave, like, and it might be kind of hard. You could play it like guns blazing, you'll get a bad score or whatever, and that's valid. But like the finer thing is to do the RP and pretend you're. So anyway, that's pretty much all I'll say about it. I just think it's like the best it's ever been. It looks great on PS5. Splitgate seems really cool though, and I missed the boat on that as well. Like I feel like everyone was playing it, and then when I was like, "Hey guys, we playing Splitgate?" and everyone's like, "No." So I've literally never played it.
Do you want to go, Cody?
Casper, why don't you take? So I'll talk a little bit about Splitgate before you jump in, because I think yours might be a little more positive than mine.
Right.
So I think for when we were playing Splitgate, when everybody was into it for like a couple weeks or whatever. Gameplay wise, it feels pretty good, right? But for me, it's always just like I'd rather be playing Halo, and this is before Halo Infinite came out. You know what I mean? So it's like this is kind of the game that was just tiding over me, at least. I don't know if that was the same for everybody, but it was just it's not as good as Halo. And I think the gimmick with the portals, and gimmick, I'm saying it negatively here. I think the gimmick is it's an interesting idea, right? I don't think it works the way that they want it to. I think there's a lot more moments where, it's not me doing like these cool like portal trick shots and everything. It's mostly like people like cheesing them and then killing me like where I can't see them or whatever. You know what I mean?
Portal. way far away.
Yeah, and it's just like, people use portals to get in like crazy spots that you can't get to, and the game mode requires that you kill them in like a I forgot what it is in Halo, like the opposite of it. Like whatever the zombie mode, whatever.
Oh,
right?
the flood.
So it's
in
like
Halo.
Yeah, right. So it's like I have to kill this guy, and he's all the way up there. I'm not gonna be able to do it. I guess we just lose.
Oh, that
like
does
so.
suck.
It really feels like the portals are more avenues for people to cheese and like abuse than it is for people to, experience the game. Probably how the devs were thinking. Like, oh, this would be so cool. Everybody be running in and out of portals.
One of the things that annoyed me too was what was it? In their oddball, whatever game mode, where you had to keep the ball. You had jetpacks in that game, and in that mode, the jetpack you had more boost. And I don't know if they were hacking or they're just really good, but they would just fly away with the ball, and they just kept going up, and they would just be at the skybox, and no one else could reach them or shoot them, and it's just
God, that's annoying.
Yeah, because also in that game mode, you don't get like a long range gun. You only get like shotguns or a bat or something like that. So if they're way up there, you're gonna be hitting them forever because they have a shield that regenerates.
Yeah, it's just
that was the one thing I really didn't like.
It's obvious that this game, it's never gonna have like the polish that like a Microsoft developed game would. You know what I mean? Like
right
in a Halo game, you can't have that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? So I think for me, that's just where it falls short. Is that honestly, rather just be playing Halo. It is a lot more kinetic. It's a lot more faster than Halo Infinite turned out to be, which is a plus for sure.
That's what I really like. Everything just happens faster. It has what they call it, a shorter TTK, time to kill. So like Halo, you shoot more, and then in this game, a headshot, no matter what you have, that's just it.
Yeah, and there must be like 100 different game modes in Splitgate that you can all queue for. And
one thing I don't like though. There's too many game modes.
That's true. It is like the flip side where
it kind of splits
all the
people. What?
Are you spoiled for choice? Like you just can't pick, or is it that all the game modes like divide the player base up too much?
I think it divides
for sure.
I think it divides the player base, and also since there's so many, they don't. It's not a huge team, so they can't not optimize. What am I looking for? Like make the game mode good, like polish the game mode. I don't know the word I'm looking for.
Right. There's too many to like
some game modes are like way obviously more fun than others, and it's really apparent.
Yeah.
So
Which I mean, it's hard to say. That could also just be a personal thing. You know.
Well, this show's about personal things, so.
Yeah.
But I like that game more than Halo Infinite just because it was so much faster and. You get into the game, the match starts right. Halo Infinite, it takes like 5 years to load a match.
It's true.
I don't know why it takes so long.
Yeah.
I gotta say, I'm not being sold on Splitgate right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Quake, I like that old fast gameplay. Yeah. Without the portal, it's pretty much just if it was just Quake but new and polished.
right.
I would probably like it a lot more.
That's kind of where I'm at too, where it's not Halo, right? I'd rather be playing Halo, but then also like the things that it does differently than Halo that are seen, it's supposed to be a plus. The portals are just dog shit. I kind of hate them.
Yeah. I think,
so it's like I just don't want to play Splitgate.
I think the portals are a really cool mechanic, and they probably just have to tweak it, but it can be really good. But one of my things is I mostly just play multiplayer games with friends, and most of my friends don't play Splitgate anymore. So it's
we're all playing Halo Infinite.
Yeah.
All right, I think I'm ready to vote. How you guys feeling?
Feeling good.
All right, this time I'm gonna count to 8.
What?
1,
okay.
2, 3, 7, 8. Go.
Oh wait, for Splitgate
first.
Which one?
Yeah, which game?
I think Hitman 3
Hitman
was
3.
First, right? I got you. Hitman 3.
8.
Yeah.
8.
I'm good with that too. I really like the first Hitman game.
No, definitely like Hitman 3 was something on my list all year. Actually, I don't want to be a Game Pass shill, right?
All right.
But the entire trilogy is coming to Game Pass like next month.
Damn.
So it's like I'm just gonna be playing that. It's gonna be awesome.
You know what? This year is like the year of failed multiplayer games.
Yeah. So the interesting part about Splitgate is that I think that, you know, because it's on other consoles besides just Xbox and PC, like on PlayStation, it's popping off.
Yeah.
It is because they don't have that Halo substitute, right?
Right.
And like the studio that made it, like they just got, I don't know, like 200 million in funding or something like that. So I think there is a lot of promise there, but they do just need to tweak it a little bit for it to be a mainstay, like you guys are saying. Yeah.
Speaking of not liking portals, Kody, the next two games are Portal Reloaded and Inscryption.
Come on, bro. Come on.
I know what Portal Reloaded is, so I'm gonna try to describe it really quick. So I believe it's Portal, but you can middle mouse click and shoot a third portal that takes you through time or something, or really just to a different map. Like really, right? Like it's just a different.
Pretty much, yeah.
Does it play at all like with the fact that it's a different time?
Yeah, it does. Oh, I should say I haven't played much of this game. I wanted to play more, but I just never got around to it.
Yeah.
But it's pretty much, I mean, it's the same map, but you know, it aged. There's grass, or like some walls have broken down. It adds a lot of complexity. That's actually one of the things, though, that makes it not really worse, but different from the Pearl 1 and 2. The game is pretty hard, and it gets really hard pretty fast.
So it's definitely for like seasoned Portal players who, you know.
Yeah, because I
don't
remember if in that game, I don't think you can shoot portals through the time one, kind of like how you can't shoot portals through the other ones.
Right.
But yeah, it adds a whole another layer of complexity, because not only are you working with one map, you have to keep going back and forth between them depending on the level you're on.
Can you shoot a portal, like the blue portal in the present and the orange portal in the past?
I really don't remember. I don't think you can.
Yeah, so it really sounds like just two different maps. Like you're kind of jumping. But
maybe you bring like objects between like the different maps, but it's.
I'm trying to remember. I really haven't played a lot, so I can't really speak too much for it. I like the concept though of it. It's a little weird, the like writing and the voices. I don't really know how to say it, but I mean it's not Valve doing it, so
it's a mod, right? So,
yeah,
right.
Yeah. Amateurish, probably a little bit. All right, I put Inscryption, but I think Kody also had it on his list too. So Kody, why don't you tell us a little bit about Inscryption?
Dude, Inscryption. Listen, I'm gonna take my glasses off for this.
Don't spoil Inscryption for people. I can't see.
No, definitely not spoil. I'm not even like super far. Anyways, I think I've only beaten the second boss.
Oh, okay, word.
So like I'm not even that far. I haven't beaten it. Dude, Inscryption, it's the new hotness. It's this year's Hades. I'm just gonna say it right now.
No, it's not.
For me,
it is.
For me, for me. It's super sick. So Daniel Mullins Games, right? Who's done this guy's a freak. This guy's a total absolute weirdo.
Why?
Dude,
what other games
and I love it. I
downloaded the two that are on Steam by him, but I haven't played them yet. One's called the Hex,
Unicorn,
I think, and then let me look really quick.
One's about
and then Pony Island.
Pony Island. That's what it is. Yep. So this game, it's a deck building type game, roguelike, with a very creepy atmosphere.
Crossed with an escape room.
Yeah, crossed with an escape room. So it just sounds like a fever dream when you try to explain it to someone.
Yeah.
But I think it's because it's from this dude. It's just, and he's been working on it for like such a long time. It is so polished, right? I can't find a way to kind of like cheese it, because usually you can maybe cheese, or you have like a strat that's like go to, and you can kind of cheese your way through it. So I haven't experienced that, and I don't know if you have.
No, I think the gameplay mechanics are like crazy, like consistent and awesome, and like I really like the card like aspect of it. As far as like polish go, I think he put polish where polish matters. Like
right,
the vibe he's kind of going for. is like one of that like reminds me of playing Flash games kind of. I mean, it's like it's like an HD Flash game. Like it's like if Flash games could be like nicer looking than they were at the time. And if you look in the credits, actually a lot of the 3D models in the room that you play in are like bought off like Turbo Squid, or they're like free. They're cool, like, you know, it's all like, that's why it kind of all looks a little off and inconsistent, you know, in terms of art style. Yeah, it definitely
adds to the vibe.
Yeah, and it adds to the vibe, right? It's like it feels mishmash and creepy.
So without spoiling like a whole ton, and since Evan's beat it, he can maybe hype it up a little more. But Casper, you've been kidnapped or something by this dude, and he's kind of acting like the game master, right? Taking you through this journey. So you have kind of a branching path. You're looking at yourself on a map, going through like the forest or whatever. And this is kind of like where the roguelike elements come in, is every time you come to a crossroads, you know, you have to make a decision. You know, where do I want to go? Do I want to go here where I can upgrade a card, but it'll sacrifice another one from your deck? Or do you want to go like here where you can get an item that might help you in the actual battles themselves? Kind of that sort of thing.
Okay.
And then the actual like battles are just fun to play.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
so it's a card game where you always know it takes a page out of like Into the Breach. You always know what the enemy is doing on the next turn, so you can always.
I didn't even put that connection together, but yeah,
like
absolutely.
The most theoretically the most optimal thing is available to you. Like you could know, like you don't have to leave it up to guessing what you think. There's no mind games, you know.
Right.
Which would
because you can see where he put the card and where they're going to advance forward, so you know that if I put a card here, they're going to run into this guy, right?
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like that.
So I think that works really well, because I think without that, there would be a lot more frustration in the game and a lot less forward momentum. Sure. You know,
I think whenever a game doesn't have a telegraph, it just makes it more frustrating.
Totally.
Yeah, for sure.
And it makes this makes it feel a little bit more like a puzzle than a straight up like card game. Like I haven't played it, but like a lot of people like jump to the comparison of like Slay the Spire as like an indie roguelike card game. And I think that's more like just a traditional card game. Like you don't know what the guy's gonna do. You're gonna just try to keep your situation real firm and pray for the best, you know. Whereas in this, you know what the outcome of every decision you make.
Right, and it makes it challenging in like just the right ways, right?
Exactly.
Like it makes it challenging because like I am trying to figure out, like you said, Evan, like a puzzle, right? Instead of he just placed the card down and just destroyed me, right?
Yeah, right. Like definitely.
Yeah. And then, so Casper, in between battles, you can like get up from the game board, and like explore this little cabin that you're in, and you're trying to figure out like what the hell is going on.
It's literally like the escape the room Flash games. Like it.
Yeah.
It's the exact same thing. It's awesome.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah. And the real kicker is that like, something's obviously going on. Like these cards, some of them like start talking to you.
Yeah.
So you're having these crazy experiences with cards that are in your hand. They're like telling you like, no, don't do that. Like that's a bad move and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's just super weird and out there. And then when you die, I don't even know is this a spoiler?
No, it's not a spoiler. I mean, people will die within the first couple minutes of playing the game, probably.
Right.
Like
so you whenever you die, the kind of loop, the roguelike element that you can bring into your next run is you become a card and you choose different aspects that you want from the hand that you had that run.
Okay. You
can choose different aspects to represent your new card that you can take with you in your next run.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty.
So
neat.
that's kind of how you're gonna progress in. Similar to that's like the progressing feature, I guess.
I think in total too, like to play the whole thing, it took me. Let's look really quick. Oh Lord, where is it? Inscryption. It took me 11 hours to play the whole thing.
Oh, okay. So
it's not that long of a game.
It's
a solid experience. I think maybe it might take some people a little longer, some people a little faster for sure. But I feel like I'm a pretty average gamer, and when it comes to this game, so
right.
Yeah, I'd probably call it around 11. I think also something that I knew before playing it that I think a lot of people just hear is that there is like a twist to it, and like something there. That's all I knew, right? Like I knew someone was like, "Bro, the twist," and like people talk about it online too. Like that's just like a thing people know. So I don't feel like I'm spoiling anything to say that,
right.
And I'm not saying what it is. And, I played the whole game guessing what it would be, and I thought that was a really cool element of it that people cared enough to like, knowing that doesn't hurt it, I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
Sometimes that can hurt an experience. Yeah, like a movie, and you're like
M. Night Shyamalan movie or something. Like
you're like waiting for that.
Every movie has a twist.
No, yeah, and you totally like it's. I won't say anymore, but it's really cool.
I just think this game has such a vibe. Like,
True.
It's so creepy and atmospheric. Like playing it in like a dark room. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
So,
it's definitely like one of the standard experiences. I didn't have it higher. Like I think this probably would be like my top game if I had beaten it, right? If I had put in that time. But it was like a late contender. I got it later in the year.
Yeah,
right?
I got it like a month ago and I played all of it like in 2 days. Like I thought it was so awesome. I couldn't stop.
Is this the kind of game where like if you had it next to a bunch of other games you could pick it out like, oh yeah, that's Inscryption? Like right away.
It's definitely it's a unique like art style, if that's what you mean. Like
like it looks different.
The vibe is definitely
definitely.
For sure.
It's
there's no games that are like it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think like I said, I do think it like reminds me of like older Flash and like freeware games in terms of the vibe it's trying to go for. But I think that's fucking awesome, like and it's definitely got modern sensibilities and stuff too, but in a lot of ways it doesn't. Like the first person controls to wander the room, that is not modern at all. It's like tank controls, and you move in like big steps. Like there's like positions on the map in which you can stand. And
it's like a grid. It's like a grid sort of.
Yeah, he like leaps forward to the next position. But it's a great
just
game.
Interacting like with the game master, and like the first time you die, like his hands kind of reach out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very
like over the
upsetting
table
the
that
first
you're
time.
playing. Yeah. It's very cool.
I got my brother hooked on it, and he doesn't really like video games, so I think that also speaks to how good of a game it is.
Yeah.
Right.
Just he loved it. So, all right, let's do this. Let's vote. Let's do votes for, unless Casper has any more questions. Sorry about Inscryption or thoughts.
No, I'm good.
Cody, you got any thoughts about Portal Reloaded or questions? I mean, about Portal Reloaded or Inscryption? I know you haven't finished Inscryption.
Right, I think I'm good on Portal Reloaded.
Okay, all right, here it goes.
I hate to say it.
Let's all get the vote for Portal Reloaded in 3, 2, 1. I said 1, guys. Come on.
I think
no hands for Portal Reloaded. Okay, 3 votes go to Inscryption.
Yeah. To be fair to Portal Reloaded, I didn't really play much of it. It was like a runner-up to the other top 5 games.
Yeah.
Oh wait, Evan, I think you did.
I did it backwards.
That's all right.
That's embarrassing.
But yeah, Casper. I think I said the same thing about Loop here. I thought you'd really like it, but I know you'll like Inscryption.
Man, I don't know. Yeah, it's a tough one. All right, I think these last ones will go a lot faster, but I have to use the bathroom extremely badly, to be frank, audience. So we're going to take a brief break, and we'll finish off the bracket. Okay. See you shortly. And we're back from our short break. Time for round 2 of the Any Percent Game of the Year bracket.
The definitive game of the year.
Yeah, as proven by science. All right, let's just get going. So, Psychonauts versus Forza Horizon 5. So we've heard a lot of the good and bad things about both games. I'm trying to think if I have any particular it's hard.
Any swaying.
Without the descriptions to back it up right away. To remember why we picked particular ones, I guess, but I don't know. Do we just
feel it in your gut?
Yeah. Should we just
I don't know what's wrong.
I mean, does anyone have any strong opinions? I guess is what we should be sharing, right? Like, I think I might pick Forza.
Dang, that's crazy. So these two are both like on my top 5, right? But I think just as far as like game package goes, like one and done, you're in, you're out, it's a great experience. I think I gotta go Psychonauts 2.
I think I'm going with Psychonauts 2 also, just because for Forza, it sounds like a good game, but
it's super polished, right?
Yeah.
It's just if you're not looking for that kind of game, like you kind of have to be maybe in a mood for like a games of service, you know what I mean?
Sure.
I think
so. Yeah, I could be swayed either way, to be honest. If anyone wants to bribe me, but
Forza have like a story to it?
it's kind of a loose story, right? Like you come to Mexico and like you're this big hot shot and like you're gonna start the party, right? You're gonna open up like all these different outposts around the map. It's kind of like the through line story, and each outpost is kind of like a theme. So you have like your off-roading like area. So all the off-road like vehicles and types of events will be in that kind of area. So you're kind of progressing in that way. Like you're grinding all the off-roading stuff, and then okay, now you unlock the street outpost.
It's definitely
now you got more street stuff
so
to
though
do.
that the story is like a small amount of narrative tissue to connect just the races.
Like
the
why the hell you come to this country?
Yeah, I mean,
you're just
they almost could have just been like,
everything.
just do it, and I think people would still just do it and stuff. You know, in Forza 4, you're like, some kind of rock star racer too, and it's like, get over there and start racing. They're British in that one,
right?
Okay, and you just do it. Like, I guess there are some like in 4 at least. There's like storylines kind of within like certain types of missions, like things that aren't typical races. There were these like mission types that were like run a taxi service, for example. And
interesting.
I don't know if that's in 5 or not. But
I haven't run into anything like that. But
yeah, like, and there was one that was like you go and drive like supercars to like test them out for somebody, and you're just like doing like drag racing basically in like the fastest cars in the game that you can't even afford to buy like with the in-game currency, because they're like just crazy nice cars. And those kind of have more story to them. Like those have like a narrative progression kind of, but still even in that situation where it's a little denser, it's still very thin.
It's definitely kind of like this I guess like your story with the game, right? Like you're telling your friends like, yo, I did this race, I unlocked this car, you know what I mean? It's not really
the way I've been trying to like kind of rank them in my head is like just comparing like graphics. They both look good, but personally I like stylized graphics more than realistic almost always. And then like gameplay, they both sound like they have just solid gameplay.
I'm kind of trying to go off like what I think I would enjoy more, and I get a lot of fun out of those map games, I won't lie. Like, and I do like Psychonauts, but I don't know how I feel about the thought of playing Psychonauts like today
in the year 2022.
Exactly. So I don't know.
In that way it has aged, but I think the message that Psychonauts 2 is like trying to set, like Tim Schafer, like comes straight from his brain, right? Like he's telling you this story. I think that is the hook that keeps you going.
I think like Psychonaut, I'll remember Psychonauts weird wacky characters more than I'll remember some car.
that could definitely for sure. Like
that's until you get the car from fucking Initial D. I had
you
that
can get that
in the fourth one. It was like some
like
kind of like
James Bond
seasonal
cars
unlockable, like only available this week. Like make sure you spend the like premium currency this week. And I was like, fuck yeah.
They have all sorts of cool collaborations, like James Bond car, like all sorts of cool stuff.
I don't know. I mean I like I guess even the old Psychonauts gameplay. It was old, but I still liked it. I don't know, I thought it held up good. And this new one is definitely a lot more polished. Just like moving through the map is fast, but I'm trying to remember, they added stuff too. They added like these, what are they called, like mind fragments or something, like you would like kind of hook shot to them in a way.
Oh cool.
And that's kind of like another puzzle aspect that they used in some of the levels. Pretty cool.
All right, well, let's put it to a vote.
All
right, everybody for Psychonauts.
Oh, you're not counting it?
Oh god, I'm over it. I don't know, guys. All right, Psychonauts wins out. You guys convinced me over Forza.
That's definitely a tough one. I could have gone, ask me tomorrow, I might go Forza, but I think Psychonauts, like as a complete package.
All right, Returnal versus Resident Evil 8. This is tough for me.
Especially since those are both yours.
I put both of those on the list, and they did like occupy pretty close spots in my list. Like they were both really, I had like a top 2, and then the bottom 3 of my 5 were like fine, or they weren't fine, but they were all like kind of at that same
like
level.
7.
It was like a
7
3-way
out of 10
tie for
plus.
third. Yeah.
Right.
So since they both fall into that category, I'm definitely having trouble. I think for this one, I want you guys to just go with your guts. I mean, ask me questions.
Yeah.
If you have any about the game still, or how they might compare to each other. But otherwise, I think let's just go with our guts.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think, I wish I was more into Resident Evil, like, some Resident Evil like super fans, right? Like I played 2 Remake and I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
But I think scary games, man. I'm just like a big wuss because
I mean, everybody
as
knows
soon
that.
as Mr. X starts following me, bro, I'm like,
there's
shitting
nothing
myself.
as scary as that in this game, like even close. Like it is really
Yeah.
not. It's like I'm hard pressed to call it a horror game. Like,
dude, next time it goes on sale, like I'll definitely probably scoop it up,
Yeah.
especially if it's 10 hours, right? Just
Yeah.
knock it out.
just knock it out. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's fun.
So, but yeah, I think my gut might say otherwise, unfortunately. But
All right, let's vote. 3. This time I'm counting.
wait for what?
4.
Okay, which one?
Right. Fuck. Dude. I'm so bad at this. I could never like run a bracket in anything legit. Resident Evil 8. Let's do that. All right. For Resident Evil 8. 3, 2, 1, go.
You still sold me on
That's
it for
2.
the first time.
Yeah. Yeah. Returnal is a
Listen,
It's
I
a great
respect
game.
it. I respect it. Yeah, yeah.
I haven't played either yet,
sure.
so I'm kind of like neutral on both of them.
yeah.
Yeah, so like Casper, like which one I guess from your vote you probably would want to play Resident Evil 8 over. Sounds
Yeah.
more like your type of game than
I
yeah.
tend to like those kind of games in general more, I think, than like the story linear. I like story linear games a lot, especially if they're good. And I like horror
This
games.
is not good. The story's not good.
in return.
But it's awesome.
Oh, in 8.
Like I it's just I think it is worth noting. Like
If
think
it's fun, is it fun?
it's fun.
Yeah,
it's
if
super fun.
That's what matters to me.
Yeah. All right, let's do Loop Hero and Ratchet and Clank. Ugh, I feel like Loop Hero might go down because Casper doesn't like Loop Hero.
Oh, that's right. I can use that to my advantage.
But I'm gonna
Casper,
I
join me.
Huh?
Casper, join me. It's like that.
Wait, are you gonna
movie is
vote
that
for
Two
from?
Ratchet
buff
and Clank?
arms.
I think I'm gonna go Ratchet and
I
Clank.
just thought you would go for Loop Hero. I thought you really liked that game.
I really like. I think it's the same. It's the same way I voted for Psychonauts 2. For me, even though Loop Hero is not games as a service, but just kind of like as a complete package, I think I enjoyed my time with Ratchet and Clank more. Loop Hero definitely hit at like the right time, and it itched like the perfect part in my brain. I was like, oh yeah, this is nice. But
Like
I
a
think
real deep
overall,
Q-tip.
like I honestly I had to look back. It reminded me it came out this year when I saw your list, Evan, when you posted on Instagram. I was like, oh shit, Loop Hero. I totally forgot about like my experience with it. I think Ratchet and Clank for me is gonna have more like lasting. I'm a super Ratchet and Clank fan, I guess, and it's gonna stick with me more than Loop Hero did. So that's ultimately where I'm probably gonna lean.
Yeah.
That's a tough one though. It's tough. It's a tough part
one.
of the bracket.
Yeah.
If Loop
All
Hero
right.
does lose, though, I do kind of feel bad for it because as much as I don't like the game, I do respect the game, the people who made it. Because I mean, there's a lot of cool stuff about the game. It just didn't click with me.
Yeah. I don't know. I think we just send it. I don't think there's much to say. All right. Let's see votes for Ratchet and Clank in 3, 2, 1, go. I hate
I'm
to
sorry.
see
That one hurts. That one hurts.
it. Loop Hero. I'm so sorry. You're so.
If it was
beautiful.
Inscryption versus Loop Hero, dude, I'd probably I don't even know. That's a tough one too.
All right, Hitman 3 versus Inscryption. I do think Hitman 3 technically beat Inscryption on my list because I spent so much more time with it, and I have a lot more like positive memories associated with it. That being said, after discussion, I might be leaning more towards Inscryption just because it is such a cool game.
See, I don't
and it is so unique.
Since I haven't played either, I don't know because I really like the first Hitman game, and I'm sure I would like the third one a lot.
Yeah, I mean, it does everything the first one does better, like
right. Yeah.
Awesome.
And you got to hand it to IO for still doing like stealth games as a genre is kind of
Totally.
They're definitely like
they're
towing
bolstering the
lines
genre,
at the right
dude. Like, I
expression.
mean, there's no more Metal Gear.
No more Splinter Cell might be coming back.
Yeah,
that's to be seen. Like if it,
A lot of games just have stealth in them now, though.
Right.
Yeah,
like
but like it's not as
loop or
like
death loop or.
And definitely Hitman is
not
cool
like
just to like differentiate it against other stealth games. Like it's got like the social stealth element, like where unlike Splinter Cell where you just can't be seen, so you're sticking to pipes and shit. And same with Metal Gear, like you're sticking to walls and trying to be avoided.
Definitely like putting on like a clown costume and like killing someone with like a banana.
Totally.
That just feels great.
Yeah, totally.
But
I don't know who to vote for.
I'm interested to see because IO just got they were given the James Bond license, so I'm interested to see.
I'm really excited
like
for
their take on that. If it's gonna be like Hitman with Hitman with a James Bond skin, or if it's gonna be like an evolution of kind of what they've been doing.
I think it'll be a more linear version of Hitman, honestly.
Right, like a true to form. Like I probably might not have social stealth, I guess maybe.
Yeah, no, I don't think so because everyone knows James Bond, right? Like he's international man of mystery, right? Like
right.
I don't see a reality where it's like exactly a Hitman game with James Bond. I am glad though, whatever it is, that it's not what James Bond games have been for the last bajillion years, which has just been like James Bond is like a fucking genocidal maniac who just guns people down. Like, I mean, he does a lot of killing in the movies and stuff, like killing thugs, but like it's got nothing on the amount of killing he does in the video games.
It's like almost to level like Uncharted.
Yeah, right.
Where it's like Nathan Drake has killed 10,000 people.
Give that man an award. So I'm excited for that. That doesn't speak to what I think of Hitman 3, though. Like doesn't make Hitman 3 any better. So I really, really like Hitman 3. I'm gonna have to go with Inscryption and make myself known.
I think I'm gonna go Inscryption too.
I am.
Oh, is that my dog? You see my dog?
Oh, dog on the pod. Jerry on the pod, dude. Let's go.
Whoa, his tail just hit my bass guitar.
Boom. He starts laying
like
down like a super funky fresh beat, dude. Hell yeah, let's go.
But yeah, definitely gotta go Inscryption. And I know like Hitman 3 was always throughout the year, like ever since it came out, was something that was hyped up and I knew that I was gonna get to eventually.
Yeah.
But yeah, Inscryption is just so good.
Yeah. All right. Well, Casper, how do you want to vote? You kind of we've shown our hands, so you really just want to go on record believing what you believe, because Inscryption's gonna win this.
I think I'm gonna go with Inscryption too, just because they both. I think I would like them both, but Inscryption's an indie game, and I like indies.
Yeah,
so
totally.
It definitely is the years like indie darling. And, oh, dude, Devolver's killing it. I know we talk about this like all the time. But like Death's Door, Inscryption, Loop Hero.
Yeah,
like,
Death's Door just barely didn't make my list. I actually probably could have put it for my sixth game. We had, but I did Metroid Dread, which lost. Fuck.
Is that the one where you're a raven?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's awesome. It makes me.
Yeah,
I
hear
played
it's cool.
the game by those guys, Titan Souls, but I do want to play that now.
Oh yeah. I played that on Vita, bro. Wow.
Hell yeah, dude.
That was like free. That was on PS Plus one month, I think.
All right.
Yeah, I have a Death's Door on Switch. I'm definitely looking forward to getting to it.
Nice.
At some point.
Our top 4 games, congratulations to them. They are Psychonauts, Resident Evil 8, Ratchet and Clank, and Inscryption. But there can be only one.
That's so tough.
So, let's see Psychonauts versus Resident Evil 8. I think, it's funny that these two games, we talked a lot about like narrative stuff and like story with these, and how they are almost polar opposites in terms of story. Like,
right.
I feel inclined to choose Resident Evil 8 just because I really like it, and I like it more than I liked Psychonauts 1.
I see what you mean. Yeah.
Which is just something to kind of reference Psychonauts 2 off of.
Yeah, I definitely think Psychonauts 2 is like a far better game than Psychonauts 1. So I know that's like your only like, I don't know, like comparison point, I guess. But yeah, that does make it a little tough.
Yeah. I think, too, just that, like, I'm almost too inclined to choose Psychonauts just because it sounds like the quality is so much higher of the game, for sure.
Right. I think from a graphics perspective, like, definitely got to give it to, even though Psychonauts has like a stylized art style. I think Resident Evil 8 might honestly be like the best looking game on like PS5.
I think it looks awesome. Yeah, I mean,
yeah, I think it just looks super quality. The fidelity is super cranked up.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, and you know what? Honestly, maybe Resident Evil 8 might be more replayable. I can't speak to that obviously, but I think Psychonauts 2 for me, when I put it down, I was like, all right, cool. Like I'm definitely gonna think about it from time to time, but I don't know if I would ever pick it up and like replay it.
Like I haven't like I said, I haven't played Resident Evil 8 again just because other stuff keeps coming out. But like, I definitely see myself playing it again. And I know some people who like immediately finished it and it unlocks like hard mode and just immediately go into the hard mode. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. It's a tough one.
So I'll say where my vote is for Psychonauts 2, but I think that's only because maybe if I had played Resident Evil it might switch, but I think for me it's because I played Psychonauts 2 and I enjoyed my experience so much that that's probably where my vote's going to be.
I think I feel the exact same way Kody does, because I Resident Evil sounds really good, like a game I would really like, but I just haven't played it, so I just don't know. But I do know that Psychonauts 2 is just a solid, polished experience.
Yeah, I think I'll go down with the ship with Resident Evil 8. But I do
respect.
It is a tough one even for me, as because Psychonauts does sound really cool. I basically have the inverse of Casper's position. It sounds
it's such a cool, like, I just like being in the Psychonauts world again, right? I think it's super cool. I very interested to see. I don't know, Casper, do you think like it could have a third one, or do you think Double Fine probably wants to do something else?
I think,
and kind of leave it at that. But
I mean, they could if they wanted to, but I think they're done with it because they wrapped up his story without revealing the end of the game. I don't think there's anything left open, is there?
I mean, I don't think so. Like, you could, have like another big bad in the Psychonaut world to take down, but I do think that this one was like way more it had more personal elements than the first one.
Yeah.
Dealing with like family and stuff. The twists are kind of cool too. If we're talking about twists and Inscryption, the twist in Psychonauts 2 actually caught me off guard.
That's cool.
Which is a little surprising because you can see it going one way, and then Tim Schafer does this thing. So
yeah.
All right, sounds like it's 2 for Psychonauts, 1 for Resident Evil. We don't have to do the hands. I just accept defeat.
See you later. What's his name? Ethan Winters?
Ethan Winters.
Cool. Very cool.
All right, we got 2 more brackets to do, and then we'll have our winner. Makes sense that the highly seeded ones are the ones reaching the top, but I'm surprised that, Returnal beat out Valheim. That came as a surprise and stuff. So
yeah, definitely
there's
some
been upsets
for sure.
So let's do Ratchet and Clank versus Inscryption. I gotta go. I'm sorry, Kody. Like, I like Ratchet and Clank as a concept.
Lay it on me,
I
dude.
did not really like Ratchet and Clank, like the PS4 one. Like, I thought it was fun, but like, I think for me, Ratchet and Clank had its time when I was like a kid, and I just don't.
For sure.
They can't recapture. It could be like the Left 4 Dead thing. Like, it just can't recapture that magic that it was for me at that time.
Mm-hmm. That's totally understandable, and like I do think that Rift Apart, I don't think it does, like, it can't get you back. If you're already thinking that way, it's probably not going to win you over. You know what I mean? I just think the gunplay in Rift Apart, I think they do, just the weapon variety and stuff like that. It just, I don't know, it's very, very satisfying.
Yeah.
But I think even though I'm like the Ratchet and Clank, proponent, I think I'm going Inscryption on this one. Actually,
I think I'm probably leaning towards Inscryption too, just because like, Ratchet and Clank sounds good and polished, but it's something that probably has been done over and over again.
Yeah, for sure. Like, the DNA is already there, and you played games that have it, right? Where Inscryption is just like,
it does feel
unlike
fresh.
anything. Yeah.
Damn, another shutout then for Inscryption. It has not ever lost a vote so
Who's
far.
gonna stop this guy? Who's gonna stop this guy?
Will it be Psychonauts versus Inscryption? I think for Kody especially, Kody is the only one who's played both games, so I think this is especially hard for him.
So okay, so where I'm at right now is, I wish. Okay, so from Evan's explanation and like how he's talking about Inscryption, I kind of wish it was more than 11, like just a little tad longer.
Yeah,
because it's such a cool concept that. And is it very replayable, Evan? Like, do you think would you go back?
Yeah,
to it
I wanted to go back to it, but when you finish it, there's it takes you to a chapter. This is actually a flaw in the design or whatever. But when you finish it, it takes you to like a chapter select. And I was like, "What's this?" And I clicked the chapter, and then it just took me to that chapter of the game, and I have to play the game from there again. And it's not the part of the game I particularly had any interest in replaying. Like, there was a different part of the game I wanted to kick off from. Point in the game.
So. And it is kind of cool that it is, it's telling the story. But it's weird because it's a roguelike that doesn't. It sounds like it doesn't really have like that replayability factor, right?
It's definitely not. Yeah, like I don't think it's designed to be infinitely replayable.
Yeah.
I don't want to. It's hard because I don't want to spoil anything. It's tough, like dude, more so than I want this to win. I don't want anything spoiled for you guys. So
yeah, for sure. It's kind of tough because I'm enjoying my time with it so far. It's definitely like top 3 of the year, right? It sounds like it's short, and maybe I'm gonna suck and it's gonna take me a long time.
Yeah, it could be that too, though. Yeah.
Oh, so you haven't?
And they're not gonna make. He's not gonna make Inscryption 2.
Cody hasn't. No.
Oh, okay.
No, I have not.
Oh, so I mean, it could. By the time you get to the end, you might be like, oh, okay, this is just right.
Yeah.
I do think that the 11 hours was just right, like for what it.
Okay.
For what the game is.
Dude, maybe actually he's doing an expansion right now. I think he's like beta testing.
Oh, there's a full-on roguelike expansion that
maybe that'll make it, because the mechanics, like the actual gameplay of it, like playing cards, trying to figure out how to beat this section is like super cool.
Yeah.
And I think that's maybe an endless wave mode or something like that.
And that's what I believe that mod.
Cool.
I think it's like an in-universe mod to the game, because the game is a game in the universe, right? Like there's like a voiceover when the game first boots up with a guy like, I'm so excited to check this out, so you're supposed to think like it's someone else is playing
he's so meta. All this stuff is so meta. Daniel Mullins, you freak. What a nasty freak, dude. So even that little talk we just had about Inscryption, that made it like harder for me.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I was going into it like, oh, maybe there's a knock, but you can't judge a game for an expansion that's not out yet.
Yeah, it's true.
I guess.
Yeah.
So I guess for me, I'm just gonna put my flag in the ground. I think I'm gonna put Psychonauts.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's where I'm at. I don't know where you guys are at.
I think I'm going with Psychonauts too, mostly because I played that game. I mean, it's polished. I liked how every world in that game was its own unique style, and it was very like every world just popped out.
Yeah,
it's true. Like you think about the super hippie, like
the hippie world. I mean, I could name most of them. The hippie one, the gambling one,
the casino, the hotel/casino.
Yeah, the old man.
Hospital. Yeah.
I forgot what his name was. Right. The old man, he had like 3 different worlds. One was like a haircut one. Another one was like a mailbox one. There's just so many unique worlds.
I think I am playing this game a little bit with one hand tied behind my back, not being able to spoil this game for you guys.
Yeah.
And for our audience,
because if you said the twist, it'd probably convince us. But
maybe. I mean, I think it would definitely like
sway
add to but. Maybe we should revisit these like next year. Like let's do this again next year. And
for sure. And
maybe once we've played some of these games, because like I do want to play It Takes Two this year and stuff, and I there's Forza Horizon 5. I want to play that. I haven't played that yet, so maybe we'll have played some of these and we can revisit it. All right, so I think with that we have our winner then, because we've all said who we're voting for.
Yeah.
So as much as Psychonauts 2 sounds cool, I think Inscryption, is the fucking coolest thing ever. So
yeah, this one honestly was like the toughest for me because I think Inscryption is super, just like and it came from like one like crazy dude, right? Like that's super sick.
That was cool.
But yeah, hats off to Double Fine, Tim Schafer. I know you're listening.
So that leaves Psychonauts as our winner. So congratulations to Double Fine. Yes, you have the stamp of approval. Woo! From the Any Percent podcast. Coming in at number 2 is Inscryption, and then we have a 2-way tie for third with Ratchet and Clank and Resident Evil 8. And then beyond that, I'm not getting into how those are all tied up. So that's our list, though. Those are our top 4 games in that order.
It's kind of funny how our entire tree is just completely different almost completely different from the game awards. Like there's only like 2 games.
Oh yeah, true.
I know.
Yeah,
It Takes Two did not get a lot of love from us.
No.
Yeah, that's a whole other thing. I don't know if that's the game of the year. I don't know. I'll just say that.
Clearly, none of us felt that way, but I still have to play it, so we'll see.
Yeah. Oh, you and Liz would have a great time with
that.
But.
Yeah, well, we're doing Get Out, or not Get Out, A Way Out right now, and we'll see.
Oh, yeah.
We'll see how that goes. Cool. So I think that's going to wrap up the first episode of 2022. Any percent.
We're back, baby.
We didn't go anywhere, Kody. It's been a very linear. We've been here every 2 weeks.
That's true. Look at Casper's beard.
Yeah, since June. We are going to switch to a once-a-month format, just an announcement that I probably should have made at the top of the podcast. But, I think we just are more likely to be able to continue doing the podcast with our other commitments in life if we go to a less frequent model, and maybe we can collect more interesting ideas about games and stuff if we just take more time to ruminate with them. So I think overall it's a good thing, and I'm excited to see what it does for the show.
Yep.
Yeah. So I want to thank my 2 boys, Casper and Kody, for joining us.
Yeah, of course.
I want to thank the audience for listening. If you made it this far through our long-winded discussion about Game of the Year, and we will be back. We haven't picked a game. It's a mystery game. We didn't think to pick a game or whatever like we usually do.
Casper is going to say it's going to be a little clip at the end once we figure it out.
Yeah, we'll cut something
seamless with the viewer. Yeah,
it'll be like Casper's news minute. Beep, 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 beep.
Beep, 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 beep.
So, yeah, thanks, guys. And I hope everybody has a great rest of their day.